You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app. ACL Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone!
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time!
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays look to sweep today as they play their final game at Target Field in Minneapolis against the Minnesota Twins. Toronto survived a back-and-forth contest yesterday with a big homer late from George Springer to win 5-4. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Joe Ali is our host today. Nick Blackmore is our producer, and our technical director is Tom Young. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Lindsay and Port Perry. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Bowden Francis goes today for the Blue Jays, looking to bounce back after the Phillies jumped on him early his last time out. On the other side, the Twins send out one of their more accomplished starters. The righty Joe Ryan is having a fantastic season. He looks to keep that going today against a Blue Jays lineup that's been hitting homers like it's easy over the last couple weeks. We'll see the Blue Jays and Twins for the third game of the series when we come back. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
This TSC Showstopper deal is like 2 stylish pillows for your feet. Save 30% on Skechers slip-in sandals on June 12th at tsc.ca. Kick up your summer style with these lightweight sandals, available in 6 fun colors, with heel pillow technology that supports every step. Save 30% on Skechers slip-in sandals. The best offer of the day on June 12th. Shop exciting offers every day at tsc.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The NBA Finals are here.
Everything Indiana does, Oklahoma City can say, we got one of those, and it's better.
Join the daily conversation on SiriusXM NBA Radio. Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine tip it off on the starting lineup.
They have 0 weaknesses.
Then it's Rob Perez and Antonio Daniels on Give and Go.
Deserving conference champions on both sides.
And Justin Termini and Eddie Johnson get you ready for all the action on NBA Today.
They have too much talent.
Expert analysis and instant reaction throughout the NBA Finals is on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the SiriusXM app.
Blue Jays fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Blue Jays. Sportsnet Radio Network.
2-2 pitch hit high, deep left field. Going back, Castro at the wall. It's gone! 2.
Blue Jays fans, thank you for hanging out with us today for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. We are live every single Toronto Blue Jays game, and we appreciate the help that you bring to this community by liking and sharing this link out to your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. However you share links, send text messages, whatever. It's all good. We really appreciate it, as well as we really appreciate those thumbs up. It really helps us grow this amazing Blue Jays community that we have here. And we've got to get after it for a playoff push. Our Blue Jays are starting to pull some things together here. Let's see if we can keep it going and take this run into some meaningful fall baseball. We'll see you back in the chat. Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for being here. Go Jays, go.
Will be at kind of a next level where they can really beat anybody, they can do anything, and they could potentially go on and challenge for the East. Who knows? Who knows with this team, with this offense, with this pitching staff, the New York Yankees better watch out.
The Blue Jays and Twins coming up pretty soon. Before we get there, let's go back to today's host, your show, Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Welcome back inside Baseball Control. Show Ali with you at our downtown Toronto studios. We're awaiting first pitch between the Jays and Twins in the series finale. We'll get to the starting lineups and the Bet365 standings update very shortly. But before we do that, let's hear from a familiar voice. Here's John Schneider, the skipper. He joined Blair and Barker for his weekly visit, this time from the manager's office, the visiting manager's office at Target Field on today's pitcher, Bowden Francis.
How much longer is the leash with Bowden before you sort of are forced to do a little something different, John?
You know, we trust him, and I think that he's working hard with Pete, and I mean, really, he's going to stay he's staying in the rotation. You know, there's when you look at it, you know, he has the ability to do it. He has done it, and you know, like any pitcher who's relatively new at this, he's going through a little bit of an adjustment period. So, really, when it comes down to executing, locating his fastball, you saw what Hosey and Chris did against Philly, just based on fastball command and how it set up the rest of the at bats. Bowden has that ability, and I think he's been inconsistent with it. So we trust him to figure it out. You know, he's very, very open. It's nothing mechanical. It's nothing drastic. His stuff is the same. He really just has to, you know, get back to locating.
That is a snippet of John Schneider chatting with Blair and Barker. You can find the whole thing on the B&B podcast feed. The guys will actually be on Blue Jays Central all series long. I'm sure you've seen it already. Jays Talk today will be handled by Julia Kreutz, who's here at Baseball Control with me. She and I will get to your calls and texts once this game is in the books. Before first pitch, though, let's get to the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees are 39-24. They did lose to the Red Sox yesterday. The Blue Jays are in sole possession of second place at 35-29. The Rays are 34-30. The Red Sox are 31-35. Yankees and Red Sox, of course, playing this series this weekend. And the Orioles are now 26-37. The Blue Jays are actually an MLB best 9-1 in their last 10 games, which is incredibly impressive. Before we get you over to Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue, who are standing by for the call of the ballgame, as you heard, let's get to the starting lineups. For the Blue Jays, Bo Bichette is batting leadoff. He is at shortstop. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first. He is batting second. Batting third is Addison Barger at third base. Alejandro Kirk gets back in the lineup after a day off. He is catching. Batting cleanup. Batting fifth is George Springer. You heard the home run earlier. Another DH day for Springer. Nathan Lucas batting sixth. He's in right field. Ernie Clements at second base. He is batting seventh. Alan Roden gets a start. He is in left field batting eighth, and batting ninth, Miles Straw is in center field. Bowden Francis making another start for the Blue Jays. For the Twins, here's Rocco Baldelli's lineup. Byron Buxton is in center field batting leadoff. Batting second is Trevor Larnach. He's DHing today. Matt Wallner is in right field. He is batting third. Batting cleanup is Carlos Correa. He's at shortstop. Cody Clemens is at second base, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Willie Castro in left field. At first base, Ty France is batting seventh. Batting eighth is Brooks Lee at third base. And Christian Vasquez is catching. He is batting ninth. Joe Ryan, as Ben mentioned, starts for the Twins. All right, we are getting close to first pitch at Target Field, so let's get you over to the guys with the call of the action. Looking for the sweep, the Blue Jays are. With the call, here are Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. The Blue Jays are about to trot out onto the field, or rather the Twins are, with the Blue Jays hitters in the first inning getting ready to go. It'll be Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Addison Barger batting first for Toronto. The Blue Jays today sport their powder blue jersey and pants with the dark blue cap and the powder blue brim. It's the Twin Cities off-white jersey, City Connect for the Twins, with typical caps except the logo is all white on the top. Blue Jays today will face Joe Ryan, right-handed starter, who is 29 years old from San Francisco. Ryan is 6'2", 205 pounds. This is now season number 5 for him in a Twins uniform in his 4th full season, and this has been his best season so far. The right-hander is 6-2 with a 2.91 earned run average in 11 starts in 12 appearances overall. He is a high strikeout guy. He does not allow the ball to leave the yard that much. He does not allow guys to get on base a ton. He is a tough matchup for this Blue Jays lineup.
Well, he throws a lot of strikes. The fastball sits about in the mid-90s, 94, 95 miles an hour from kind of a weird angle. And that sweeper is a pitch it's elite. And that's really why he's so good. The thing that jumps off the page to me with him is the hits that he allows. 49 hits in 68 innings pitched. That is really, really good. The Blue Jays are in tough today.
Ryan's whip, walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, at 0.9, is third best in the American League. The only two guys ahead of him are both in the Cy Young conversation, Tarek Skubal and Nathan Eovaldi. So this is a guy who really is not going to allow a lot of traffic if he is on, and the Blue Jays are going to have to make do with a small handful of mistakes that you might see from Ryan.
Well, generally speaking, you're probably in the Cy Young conversation when you don't walk anybody, you don't give up any hits, and you strike out more than 9 per 9. And that's exactly what Joe Ryan's doing. He's been very, very good this season. But the Blue Jays offense has been very, very good over the last month or so. So I like this matchup.
Yeah, they came up against tough starters the last 2 days. Bailey Ober they got to in 7 innings. While they didn't exactly clip Chris Paddock, they did enough and then hit against the bullpen to be able to win yesterday. Ryan is getting in his warm-up pitches right now. The tall right-hander with a mustache and soul patch, long dark brown hair coming out of the back of his cap. And we're getting set for the first inning, brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Nice day in Minneapolis. It's sunny over Target Field. Maybe not the warmest day out in Minneapolis, but we don't have the same threats of rain that the Blue Jays were facing yesterday. It's 21 degrees with a little breeze, probably playing a bit cooler than that. And the wind is pushing out. So if the Blue Jays are looking to keep the home run streak going, the elements and the baseball gods might be in their favor. They've hit so many big home runs in big spots recently. John Schneider had talked about, not today, but yesterday, all the comeback wins. And he had talked about great at-bats late and 2-run homers being a big part of it.
Well, it's pretty cool to have the feeling of we are never out of a ball game. Whether you're down by 3, down by 5, the Blue Jays have been able to come up with the big hit, the big home run, especially Addison Barger and George Springer late in ball games against very tough pitchers. Griffin Jacks yesterday. How about that home run yesterday? It's pretty incredible. I mean, I'm not in that clubhouse at least 99% of the time, but I can only imagine that the Blue Jays' confidence level in that clubhouse is next level.
They'll try to keep it going right now as Bo Bichette steps into the righty batter's box. Joe Ryan swinging his arms back and forth, facing home plate. He steps forward, turns to the left, deals home, and the first pitch is a fastball low, 1-0. Time in the first pitch today, 2:13 Eastern. Again, sunny, 21 degrees in Minneapolis. The 1-0. Fastball on the corner, strike one. Home plate umpire today is Dan Merzel. At first base, Charlie Ramos. Jordan Bakerman, second base, and Chad Whitson is at third. Next pitch. Sweeper outside. You had mentioned being impressed by the sweeper. For Ryan, he'll use his four-seamer over half the time. Then he'll mix in a splitter a lot to lefties, a sweeper more to righties. Has a sinker and a slider as well. 2-1. Fastball over the middle, called a strike, 2-2.
And you could see right away that he locates that fastball very, very well. Gets low, bends those legs, and it's almost like that fastball has a little bit of rise at the end of it. It's so tough to square up.
2-2 pitch, called strike 3. 95 on the inside corner. Bichette never swung that at bat. He goes down after 5 pitches, 1 out.
That's just gross. Even if Bo Bichette swings at that pitch, a sinker at 95 miles an hour, down and in, he's not going to do much with it. Probably would have just fouled it off. That's a great pitch from Joe Ryan.
So 1 out, top of the first. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And the pitch. Swing and a miss at a first pitch fastball, 0-1. Nice day yesterday for Vlad. Came up with a first inning single, came around to score, and then in the 9th inning, knocked in the eventual game-winning run, scoring Tyler Heineman on a single. 0-1. Sweeper high and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Guerrero on the year, a .276 hitter, .804 on base plus slugging, 11 doubles, 8 homers, 29 RBIs. 1-1 pitch. Low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Ryan asking if that pitch missed low. He not only got the nod from Dan Merzel, but from Vladdy as well. Guerrero rests the bat on his right shoulder, now brings it above his head. 2-1. Swing and a foul off, 95 down and in, sent into the seats off to the right, 2-2.
He's really filling up the zone right now with that fastball. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was all over that one, just fouling it back.
Ryan swings his arms back and forth. Into the wind, 2-2. Outside with his first splitter of the day. Missed low as well. 3 balls, 2 strikes. On deck, Addison Barger. 1 out and the base is empty. Top of the first. Ryan's thrown 10 pitches so far. His 11th offering. Low ball 4. Guerrero takes a first inning walk as that fastball missed around ankle height.
And that's such a good take. He's obviously seeing the ball really well right now, taking his walks when he can, and that shows that he trusts the rest of the lineup to really do the damage. He's not trying to carry this lineup, trusts everybody else. He takes that tough fastball right below the strike zone.
Less concerns about the protection behind Vladdy right now because this guy is up. Addison Barger, first pitch, swing and a miss on a sweeper, 0-1. Barger hitting .268 this year, .834 OPS, 12 doubles, 7 homers, 21 RBIs. 0-1. They miss inside, but he hit the spot perfectly with the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Those first 2 pitches tell me that the Minnesota Twins are going to try to be careful with Addison Barger. A sweeper and then a slider.
Maybe he throws the splitter next. 1-1. Fastball right down the middle, surprised him, called a strike, 1-2.
You can guarantee that Addison Barger wants that pitch back. Just snuck that fastball in there at 93 right down the middle.
That was the 4-seamer, but he gets some of that sinker-ish arm side run. Maybe not as much as his true sinker. But everything he throws is nasty. Joe Ryan, a really good pitcher. From the stretch, his 1-2. Bounced foul off to the right.
There's that split finger. It's 88 miles an hour, has a lot of tumbling action to it. Tough to square up for lefties, and Addison Barger does a good job just fouling it off and staying alive in this at-bat.
Barger steps back into the box, pointing his bat up to the sky. He wheels it around. Ryan's going to ask for a new baseball. Joe Ryan's got really nasty stuff, so Chris, guess who drafted him?
I know who drafted him.
You do? Yeah. The Tampa Bay Rays drafted Joe Ryan, of course. 1-2. Down and in. Back pick over to first. Dive back in by Vladdy. Pitch was a ball. There was a check swing from Barger, but he didn't go around. And now France tries a hidden ball trick on Vladdy, who did not fall for it, a fellow first baseman. So a 2-2 count with Guerrero still at first.
Well, I guess it was either the Rays or the Dodgers. Those are the two options.
I could have given you like a Guardians outside shot. The Brewers have a good history with it. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Perfect splitter, bottom of the zone, 2 down.
Really locates that pitch well. That one didn't have a ton of movement on it. Had a little bit of a changeup action to it, but still just located perfectly right at the bottom of that strike zone. Addison Barger was way out in front of it.
2 strikeouts around the walk for Joe Ryan. And Alejandro Kirk will hit with Guerrero on first and 2 outs. No score, top of the first. Ryan looking in, kicks and deals. Pitch low, ball 1. So Joe Ryan was a 7th rounder by the Rays. That was in 2018 out of Cal State Stanislaus, a little bit east of San Jose, not too far from San Francisco where Ryan was born. 1-0. Called a strike, just clipped the inside edge. Started his year, or his college career, at a slightly more well-known Cal State Northridge, but never broke that rotation, went to Stanislaus. Had an ERA about 1.5 as a starter for them in his lone year. Step off, throw to first, and the throw was wide, so Guerrero dives back in. But that actually was pretty close if the throw didn't go to the wrong side of the first baseman, France. Denzel
Clark actually went to Cal State Northridge, who we just saw, the Newmarket native, Toronto born.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure about either of those.
Toronto born.
There you go.
1-1. Swing and a foul off to the right. Sweeper on the outer edge. Hit into the seats by Kirk. 1-2. Kirk this year a .304 batter, .738 OPS, 6 doubles and 3 homers. Taps the plate twice, brings the bat up. 2-tone bat with a black handle, light barrel. 1-2. Vladdy takes off from first, swing and a miss. Strike 3. That'll do it for the inning. Around the walk, 3 strikeouts for Joe Ryan. It's a scoreless top of the first, so it's 0-0. Blue Jays and Twins. Bowden Francis takes the hill for the first time next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Insulation that does more than keep you warm? That's Rock Wool Stone Wool. Fire-resistant, soundproof, moisture-repellent, built to handle what other insulations can't. Whether it's for a reno, a new build, or the peace and quiet you've been dreaming of, Rockwool Insulation delivers serious performance where it counts. Insulation with a reputation. Get it where the smart builders shop at Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Breaking news coming in 5. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hi, this is Jeff Hoffman, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host today, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young, our technical director. Scoreless ball game, Blue Jays and Twins. Bowden Francis onto the hill for the first time. It's the bottom of the first inning, and Francis starts with Byron Buxton. Right-hander winds and delivers. Fastball at the knees, strike 1. For Francis, his 13th start of the year, 2-7 with a 5.84 earned run average. The 0-1. Inside at 92, 1 ball, 1 strike.
How about that? A fastball inside. Obviously, he's going to try to throw a little bit more inside, establish the inside part of the plate. That makes it a heck of a lot easier to pitch on the outside part.
1-1 curve misses low, or rather the slider, 2 balls, 1 strike. We mentioned that because Francis's last start did not go well. Pitched against the Philadelphia Phillies on the 3rd of June. His 2-1 to Buxton. Hit on the ground foul, 2-2. In that start, Francis allowed 6 runs in the first inning, ended up with an inning and 2/3, 7 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, and a lot of pitches out over the plate. 2-2. Inside with the heater, Buxton turns away, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch. Missed his spot just by a little bit. You could see Alejandro Kirk set up and in almost at the hands of Byron Buxton. But still, it's an effective pitch because it opens up the outside part of the plate.
3-2 breaking ball missed inside. They were trying to go away, and that'll be a walk to Buxton to start the day. Felt like the Phillies were really sitting on fastballs on the outer third in the last start. Not only did they hit for significant power on some pitches on the outer third or even off the plate outside, but 6 of the 7 hits overall came on the Francis fastball. Buxton leading off first, and the pitch to Trevor Larnach. Fastball on the inner third, missed his spot, but put it in a good spot, 0-1.
But now Trevor Larnach thinks, hey, they're probably going to come inside because he did miss his spot inside. So I take that as a win if you're Bowden Francis.
Big left-handed hitter Larnach. Slight knee bend in the stance, 0-1. Outside with the heater that time, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's why as a pitcher, I learned early on that if you miss your spot, never shake your head. Never act like you did miss your spot because the hitter's staring at you. He's seeing your reaction.
1-1. Swing and a miss. Good splitter just below the zone, 1-2. 4-seamer splitter, curve, slider, very rare sinker is the mix for Bowden Francis. Sets up the splitter grip as he does on every pitch. Now tucks the ball into his glove just above the belt. Buxton on first, no outs. And the 1-2. Splitter called, strike 3. Clips the outside corner at the knees. And there's 1 out.
That's a good pitch. Trevor Larnach didn't like that call, but that's about as good as it gets. Just gets it on the black there. Alejandro Kirk with a good frame job for the big first strikeout against a tough hitter.
I can imagine that a good first inning after his last start would go a long way for the confidence of Bowden Francis, who you wouldn't blame for not quite having full confidence right now because it's been a bumpy season. First pitch to Matt Wallner is a heater just outside at 95, 0-1, or pardon me, 1-0.
I mean, I can only imagine that there's been times this season that Bowden Francis has been sitting alone at home or in the clubhouse and thinking, is my stuff good enough? You can't blame him for thinking that way.
1-0. Swing and a miss at the curve. The stuff is largely unchanged from his run last year. You look, there's probably about half a mile per hour less on the fastball. Not a huge deal for a guy like Francis, who doesn't overpower with velocity anyway. Is 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good splitter in the dirt. 1-2.
And I do agree with you. The stuff is largely unchanged from last year. It's just sequencing and command of his pitches, and that's really the difference from 2025 to 2024.
There's only one thing I saw when looking at his stuff that stood out much at all, and it's getting a little less spin on his fastball, which is not something that people think about a lot, necessarily think about spin on breaking balls, but when people talk about that ride or that extra gear that it gets close to the plate, you lose a little bit of that if you have less spin on the ball. There's 1-2. Downstairs with the splitter, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, not enough to say that because he has less spin, a 2.5 ERA turns into a 5.5. But maybe just a couple mistakes he would have gotten away with last year, he's not so far this year. Francis in the stretch motion. The pitch. High with the heater, 2 balls, now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a pretty good pitch. 95 miles an hour, just above the strike zone. A good take from Wallner. I think Alejandro Kirk actually wanted that pitch.
Wallner fairly patient, 12 walks in 24 games this year. 3-2. Outside ball 4, just missed with the fastball. That sends Buxton down to second and Wallner up to first. Second walk of the first inning.
It does seem like Wallner's pretty patient. Another tough fastball just out of the strike zone, up and away. Alejandro Kirk did everything he could to try to frame that pitch, make it look better, but Wallner takes the walk. First and second now and 1 out.
16 pitches so far in the first inning for Bowden Francis. 1 strikeout and 2 walks. It's a scoreless ball game, bottom of the first. And the pitch to Carlos Correa. Curve, strike 1. Correa, the shortstop, not having his best year. He has a very high standard, of course, but batting .241, .661 on base plus slugging so far. 0-1. Fastball in, 1 ball, 1 strike. You look back to last season, Correa only played 86 games due to injury, unfortunately, but batted .310 at a .905 OPS. 1-1 pitch. Curveball popped foul back behind the plate and into the screen. It drops back down onto the grass. It's 1-2.
This is a big pitch coming up. A 1-2 count to a very good hitter. Like you said, this first inning is very important to his confidence. He'll go a long way if he can get out of this jam here.
He had allowed 3 runs before getting an out in his last start. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A little grunt on a great slider. Strikes him out there. 2 down.
Perfectly located. Started in the strike zone and then just dropped right below that strike zone. That is a massive strikeout, keeping those runners at first and second. And now you have 2 outs in the inning.
Still Buxton on second and Wallner on first as Cody Clemens comes up to the plate. Clemens snapped an 0 for 9 in the 9th inning yesterday, hitting a home run off Jeff Hoffman. The pitch. Fastball lifted out to left center field. Playable for Alan Roden. Fighting the sun, he makes the catch to end the inning. No runs for the Twins, no hits. Francis strikes out a pair and works around a couple of walks to keep it 0-0 after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Dive into summer with an exclusive collection of sun-soaked specials on the SiriusXM app. From the heats, poolside party starters, to BPM's red-hot dance floor fillers, and backyard barbecue vintage hits. From classic vinyl, brighten every moment with exclusive feel-good mixes from your favorite channels and more. Just search Summer on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Network. Blue Jays home run leader George Springer steps into the box as we get going. Top of the second inning between the Blue Jays and Twins. No score as Joe Ryan winds and offers. First pitch popped up, foul behind the plate, 0-1. Springer hit his team-leading 10th long ball yesterday. A go-ahead 2-run shot in the 8th inning that scored Addison Barger. The 0-1. Called a strike. Good fastball at the knees. 0-2.
That's a tough fastball, especially when you're expecting that sweeper or that split finger. You can see that fastball kind of buckled George Springer's knees a little bit.
Oh-2. Called strike 3. Splitter just got the knees. Springer backpedals out of the box and turns around to go back to the dugout. All 4 outs so far for Joe Ryan have come by way of the K.
Such a good sequence. Fastball away, fastball in, and then just flips that really nice splitter on the outside corner for strike 3.
2 strikeouts on fastballs, 2 strikeouts on splitters, and then 1 walk so far issued to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 1 out, Nathan Lucas to hit. Ryan's pitch. Fouled away. Lucas batting .270 on the year, .761 on base plus slugging. 3 doubles, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs. Holds the hands out from his stomach, now brings him up level with his face. The 0-1. Swing and a pop foul. That one heads out of play down the left field line into the seats. 0-2.
He was all over that fastball. Just missed it. Big swing, just fouled it back.
When he's got the right approach right now, you got to be in swing mode for Joe Ryan because he's going to throw you strikes, and a lot of them are going to be fastballs. 2-strike pitch. Fastball fouled away. It was down the middle, went off the end of the bat of Lucas. Maybe just that tiny bit of arm side run did all that Ryan needed to keep that away from the barrel. Lucas, one of a good handful of lefties in the lineup today. Lefties have hit a little bit better against Ryan this year, and Ryan just got a pitch clock violation. He got stopped in the middle of his wind, so it must have been pretty borderline. But that's one of the few ways you're going to get Joe Ryan to throw a ball, technically. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Ryan didn't seem too bothered. Smiled back to his middle infield. Now the 1-2. Swing and a fly ball out to center. Hangs up for Byron Buxton. Sunglasses on. Buxton with a 2-handed grab just in front of the warning track. 2 down.
I have a question for you. Does that ball count as a ball in your pitch count?
Yes, I believe.
But does it count as a pitch?
No, I believe, which is the weird in between. It definitely doesn't count on your pitch count. You don't see the pitch go up on any of the official MLB sources as Ernie Clement takes outside ball 1.
You know what I love about that question right now is you're a little bit off balance. That makes me so happy.
I'm trying my best. We don't really see that many pitch clock violations these days. First pitch missed outside to Ernie Clement, by the way. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. Second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2. No score in the ball game so far. Top of the second inning, 2 outs and the base is empty. Ryan nods his head, looking down as he listened into the pitch comm, hands together at his chest. The 1-2. Fouled back. A little extra on that one from Joe Ryan. 95 elevated, and Clement just covered it.
I'm glad I'm getting you back for all those Boston B questions you asked me.
You've been nailing trivia recently. Got Brett Gardner.
Yeah, there you go.
1-2. Down and away with the sweeper. Clement never thought about it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ryan into the wind. Delivers home. And Clement lines a ball past the dive of Carlos Correa, and one hops into left field. First hit of the day for the Blue Jays. That flat line drive swing for Ernie Clement covered the splitter that was left a little bit up.
Yeah, that was the first mistake of the day from Joe Ryan. Just a hanging split finger, a little bit of a floater on the inside part of the plate. But Ernie Clement with that 2-strike approach just hammers it through that left side.
Correa kind of stumbled into the dive, almost looked a little in between whether he should slide or dive. Either way, it's clearly a base hit for Ernie Clement, and he's on first with 2 outs, and Alan Roden coming up. Left-handed hitting Rodin, bat high above his left shoulder, swings at the first pitch, and grounds it foul right side, 0-1.
I don't imagine that even if Carlos Correa comes up with that baseball that he throws out Ernie Clement at first base. Correa does have a good arm.
Really good arm, but I agree. And even if he gets to it, he might have just knocked it down.
Yeah.
It was hit pretty hard. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Alan Rodin making his 33rd appearance in the major leagues, all of them this season. Has not featured much since he was brought back up to the roster. The 1-1. Swing and a looper off the handle to right field. That's trouble, and that's down past the dive of Wallner, rolling behind him. All the way around to third, Clement. He gets the wave home. He'll come in to score on an Alan Rodin RBI double. It's 1-0 Blue Jays.
And how about that? Ernie Clement was off on contact, obviously, with 2 outs. That ball gets past Matt Wallner in right field, and he hustles around third base for the first run of the ball game. But Alan Rodin scorched that baseball.
It's the first hit for Rodin since April 15th, and he will take it for sure. Didn't hit it all that hard. It worked to his benefit as Wallner took the gamble and got burned when the ball went by him.
I don't mind that gamble right there. If I'm Joe Ryan standing on the mound, Matt Wallner was probably a couple of inches from catching that baseball.
First pitch is high to Miles Straw, ball 1. Rodin on second, 2 outs, 1-0 Blue Jays.
How do you feel about that gamble?
I don't mind the gamble either.
Yeah.
1-0. Called a strike. The way I think about it, so let's say he lets it drop. Ernie probably goes to second, and Rodin's at first. Then for the Blue Jays to score a run, they bring up a .286 hitter, and a single scores a run from Straw. Toronto had good odds to score then anyway. 1-1 pitch. Called outside. Looked like it had the outside edge. Ryan doesn't agree. Talking a little bit with Dan Merzel. It's 2-1.
I also didn't actually expect Ernie Clement to score on that baseball.
Got a great jump. 2-1 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Rodin taking his lead. Infield playing straight up, so no middle infielder really near him. 3-1. Straw hits it on the ground towards third, picked up there by Brooks Lee. He'll toss over to first, and that does it for the inning. The Blue Jays score on a pair of 2-out hits, single from Ernie, and then an RBI double from Alan Rodin. Makes it 1-0 Blue Jays, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gausman t-shirt giveaway, presented by Ryobi. Free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Every Friday home game is a City Connect Friday. And on this Friday, we shine. On June 20th, it's Pride Night presented by TD. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a crossbody bag. City Connect Fridays. Night mode. Lights up. Let's go.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Green kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss. They defeat the Mariners.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
1-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the second inning with Toronto at Target Field in Minneapolis. Last game at Target Field in the regular season this year for the Blue Jays. And the first pitch outside to Willie Castro. Ball 1. Bowden Francis walked 2, struck out 2 in a scoreless first. Now facing the switch hitting left fielder Castro, who bats left. 1-0. Low. 2 balls, no strikes. You've asked me about a fair number of guys' eye black designs so far this year, so I'll ask you about Willie Castro's. He's got 2 thin lines of eye black, and then it seems like gold or another color of eye black in the middle. 2-0 pitch outside, ball 3.
I like it. It's creative.
It is creative. I've never seen that.
But it's not too much, though. You see the eye black coming down the cheek sometimes into the beard. I like this. It's a little bit subtle, but still pretty creative.
3-0 pitch on the outside edge, called a strike, 3-1.
How about that answer?
Very thoughtful.
Okay.
I appreciate it. That's Chris LaRue, the former Marlin, Pirate, and Yankee. I'm Ben Schulman. Blue Jays just got a run on an Allen Roden 2-out double. 3-1 pitch to Castro. And he takes it on the outside edge again at 95. He turned away to first, but now heads back to the plate in a full count. Switch hitting Castro batting .255 on the year, .776 on base plus slugging. 15 extra base hits, 6 of them are home runs. The 3-2. Fouled away, 95 on the outer edge again. They've gone 3 straight pitches, 4-seamers right on the outside edge.
He seems like he has pretty good command of that fastball, at least early on. He's thrown 26 pitches, 27 now after that last pitch, but seems like he's got a pretty good feel for that fastball location.
3-2. Splitter rolled over foul, first base side. Ramon Borrego will pick it up, first base coach for the Twins. Borrego tosses it into the seats.
I also love that pitch. If you have a good feel for your changeup, for your split finger, I love when guys throw it 3-2 because that's a fastball count. Willie Castro is probably sitting dead red here, waiting for that something hard, and then you flip in that split finger.
3-2 again. Splitter again, just low, ball 4.
That's a great pitch. Man, it's too bad that he didn't swing at that because that ball started right down the middle and then just dove right below the strike zone. That's a tough take. A good pitch, though, from Bowden Francis.
Fell behind 3-0, then battled. Just try and start off the next plate appearance a little bit more in the zone as he takes on the contact hitting Ty France. Francis looks over his left shoulder, now sets his 30th pitch of the day. Breaking ball down and away, ball 1. Ty France, a one-time All-Star. First baseman makes his 3rd start in a row in this series for the Twins. Right-handed hitter twirls around the bat 3 or 4 times. Now waves it in the air. 1-0. Swing and a liner up the middle, a base hit into center field. Straw picks it up as it rolls into his glove. Up to second goes Castro. France has a base hit. There's 2 aboard with nobody out.
That's a pretty good swing from Ty France. That pitch was elevated. It was a fastball, and he just hammered that thing into center field. First and second now, nobody out.
Francis dealt with first and second, 1 out last inning and got out of it. This a bit tougher of a spot, although it is the bottom of the order this time rather than the middle that he had to work through in the first inning. Switch hitter Brooks Lee to the plate. First and second, no outs. Francis looks back to Castro and offers home. First pitch fouled back, an elevated heater, 0-1. For Brooks Lee, this is his 99th career Major League game. 50 last year. This is his 49th of the season. 0-1 pitch, called a strike. Fastball on the inside edge, 0-2.
Happy almost 100 ball games to Brooks Lee. We obviously won't be here tomorrow, so might as well do it now.
The Twins will actually get the day off tomorrow, so he can get some party planning in. 0-2 in the dirt with the splitter. Blue Jays hop on a plane after this game. They head to St. Louis. They'll start a series against the Cardinals tomorrow. Twins get the day off And then they take on the Texas Rangers in a Tuesday to Thursday series. 1-2 count, first and second for the Twins. Nobody out, bottom of 2. The pitch. Downstairs with the curve. Lee thought about it starting the hands, but yanked him back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Deep breath from the switch hitter batting left. He's the third baseman today. Actually made the final play of the top of the second. 2-2. Fastball fouled off.
I like that pitch there because they were trying to come inside. A lot of the times over the course of this season for Bowden Francis, whenever he gets 2 strikes on somebody, he almost always goes away. Split finger, a slider away, or a fastball away. I like that fastball in there.
2-2. Line drive down in right field for a base hit. Up to third base, Castro. He'll stop. It's station to station for the Twins. France stops at second, and Lee at first. They wanted to go in again, but that pitch, in terms of east to west, was right down the middle. It was at the top of the zone, and Lee got on top of it for a single.
Yeah, they were trying to come in, and it leaked back over the middle of the plate. It was elevated at the top of that strike zone. Like you said, it was right down the middle, and Brooks Lee does a good job just hitting that ball into right field. Hit it so hard that Willie Castro couldn't score from third bases. Now the bases are loaded with nobody out in this inning.
That'll bring Pete Walker out the hill to talk to Bowden Francis. Walk single for the Twins. Bases loaded, no outs. Blue Jays are leading 1-0 in the second. As Walker talks with Francis, good time to check in on the All-Star game coming up. You can vote your Blue Jays and send them to Atlanta for this year's All-Star game. Voting is open. It goes from now until June 26th. You can vote up to 5 times per day, and all you got to do is fill your ballot out once, and unless you want to vote 5 unique ballots, you just hit vote again, vote again, vote again. You know, maybe identify some cars and prove you're not a robot in the middle, and then vote again. BlueJays.com/vote is where you can go. Bases loaded, no outs. Christian Vasquez up, the pitch. Hit on the ground towards second base. Infield was back, so Clement will toss that over to first. Castro comes in to score. France up to third, Lee up to second. It's a 1-1 game on the RBI groundout by Christian Vasquez in the second inning.
That was actually a good job from Ernie Clement. He could have tried to turn to second base and potentially got that out there, but it's not a guarantee. He takes the sure out at first base, gets 1 out. Now runners at second and third and 1 out in this inning. Still a big spot for Bowden Francis. Needs to continue to make his pitches here to a tough Byron Buxton.
Second and third, 1 down, and the pitch to Buxton. Outside and low, ball 1. Buxton walked on a full count in the first inning.
And the Blue Jays have brought the infield in here, trying to cut off that run at third base.
Further in on the right side than left. The 1-0. Just outside with the slider. 2 balls, no strikes. Byron Buxton, the second overall pick by the Twins back in 2012 out of a Georgia high school. 1 pick behind his teammate Carlos Correa. And only 2 picks later, Kevin Gausman was selected by the Orioles. 2-0. Check swing on a curve low. 3 balls, no strikes.
Seems like they're trying to be pretty careful since Bowden fell behind 1-0. Not really giving Byron Buxton anything he can drive here.
There is first base open. Set up some more forces. 3-0 pitch. Low ball 4. They were pitching around him, but at the same time, it is now a 4th walk already for Bowden Francis in an inning and a third.
It hasn't been perfect for Bowden Francis. He's made some tough pitches. He's made some good pitches. This is a big spot now with the bases loaded and 1 out in this inning. See if the Blue Jays can cut that runoff at home plate, although they have moved the infield back.
Middle is back. Corners will stay in. Pitch to Trevor Larnach. Low ball 1. 1-1 game after the RBI groundout. Bases loaded and 1 out, bottom of the second. In a similar spot in the 4th yesterday, the Blue Jays got a grounder to third, started a 5-2-3 double play. 1-0. Fastball in there at 95. Evens up the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. 44 pitches already for Bowden Francis. His 1-1. Splitter called a strike. Just got the outside corner. 1-2.
That's a good pitch. Tend to think that I would probably throw another one of those just below the strike zone, but I also go fastball in here.
Struck out Larnach on a splitter in the first. A 1-2. High fastball hit in the air to center field. Hanging up for Straw. Tagging from third, Ty France. Straw makes the catch, and the throw comes into second base. It's a sacrifice fly, and now a 2-1 Twins lead on the Larnach fly ball. First and second, 2 outs.
If I'm Bowden Francis, I take that all day long. I'd rather trade an out there for a run. We're still early in this ball game. Obviously, Joe Ryan is pitching for the Twins. He's a very good pitcher out there, but to trade a run for an out there in that tough situation with the bases loaded, I take that all day long.
Two outs, first and second, and Matt Wallner to the plate. Walked in the first inning in a full count. Francis is going to step off. Wallner, a left-handed hitter, just like Larnach. Lefties give Francis more trouble than righties have this year to a considerable degree. Lefties on the season hitting .294 against Francis with an OPS near 1,000. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike one.
Big swing from Wallner. You can tell what he was trying to do there.
He's got 4 home runs this year in 24 games played, 11 extra base hits overall. A 1. Curve cut on and missed. Nice pitch there from Francis. In the zone 90% of the way. It's 0-2.
Wallner did have a home run in yesterday's ball game. Also had a walk. He's got a pretty good eye up there too.
First rounder by the Twins in 2019. Native of Forest Lake, Minnesota. 30 minutes north of Minneapolis. 0-2. Splitter bounces foul. Wallner clipped it, and then it ricocheted up, I think maybe into Kirk, and then the home plate umpire, or rather no, just straight into Dan Merzel's gut. That's why he wears the chest protector. He's all right, and it's still no balls and 2 strikes.
Usually you'd see the catcher kind of slowly walk out to the pitcher, give the home plate umpire a couple of seconds. Kirk did not do that.
0-2. Outside and low with the splitter. Matt Wallner's only played 24 games coming into today because of a left hamstring strain. He suffered it running the bases against the Mets in mid-April. Missed 6 weeks. Came back May 31st. 1-2. Swinging a liner. Caught at first. Leaping catch by Vlad on a screamer. Hooked down the line. And that will do it for the second inning. The Twins score twice on 2 hits. 2 walks hurt Francis as well. It's 2-1 for Minnesota after the second inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the third starts with a breaking ball inside to Bo Bichette, and we are back underway Blue Jays at Target Field, 2-1 for the Twins after they got an RBI ground out from Christian Vasquez and a sac fly from Trevor Larnach in the second. 1-0. Called a strike, fastball at the knees. I don't have this in front of me, but this has got to be a record. Bo Bichette's seen 7 pitches so far in this game. He has not swung yet.
Sounds like a question I would ask you.
1-1. Outside and low, he holds back again. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bichette struck out looking on a fastball in the first inning. Ryan's 2-1 is a fastball fouled away. There's his first swing of the day as he hits a 95-mile-per-hour heater off to the right, 2-2. Bichette, Guerrero, Barger for the Blue Jays. They got 2 hits and a run last inning off Ryan. Long-haired righty steps onto the rubber, into the wind, and he throws. Down and away with the splitter. Tough take by Bichette and a good one. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a really good take. Just outside by a hair.
The payoff pitch. Low ball 4. Bo Bichette will take a walk. He's on to start the top of the 3rd inning.
How about that at bat? A tough take on that split finger just outside. And then a tough take on that fastball just below the strike zone. Obviously, he struck out in that first at bat. Bo is seeing the ball well right now out of Joe Ryan's hand.
Ryan, not typically a guy who walks many. We mentioned that he's got the 3rd best whip in the American League coming into this game. Pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. is scorched up the middle. Diving stop. Correa. Backhanded flip to second is wide. And everyone's safe. I can't even believe Correa got to that ball up the middle. Once he did, he took it out of his glove and kind of shovel passed it over to second base. But he threw it more to the mound side of second. Clemens had no shot of reeling it in. So Bo up to second. Vladdy at first. And what my mind should probably be a base hit.
Well, Carlos Correa just gave the Blue Jays offense a gift right there. If he could just come up with that baseball, and I don't know what happened if the ball got stuck in his bare hand, but that seemed like an easy play, a play that he would normally make, that little shovel, backhand shovel to second base. It was nowhere near Cody Clemens at second.
The shovel easy, but the degree of difficulty just for the hit, I'm talking.
Initially, very tough.
Yeah. Haven't seen a scoring decision yet. First pitch to Barger, called a ball. I mean, that had all sorts of the strike zone. That's just a miss from Dan Merzel, but Barger will take it. It's 1-0.
It's also a pitch that he normally hits about 450 feet.
They're calling it a failed fielder's choice for Vlad, so he does not get a hit. They've not assessed an error to Correa. Now the 1-0 is bounced foul behind home plate, 1-1. That scores decision essentially indicates they believe Bichette beat that out. I think that might be debatable, but either way, first and second, no outs. The 1-1. Popped up foul back behind the plate, out of play, 1-2.
If Carlos Correa comes up with that baseball cleanly, gets to his feet and tries to throw Vlad out at first base, would he have got him?
The fielder's choice ruling says yes in a way.
Okay.
I don't know that for sure, but maybe. 1-2. Hit high in the air out to left field. Hanging up for Castro. He makes the catch off to his right. Runners hold at first and second, 1 down. And I say that the scores decision says it does because by nature a fielder's choice means that rather than getting it out of the batter runner, you are choosing to go somewhere else. So it's not that you couldn't get a guy in theory. It's that you're choosing to go after the lead runner instead.
And that ball was scorched.
Yeah,
so I'm assuming that Carlos had time or would have had time to get to his feet and throw out Vlad at first base.
Pitch to Alejandro Kirk is high, ball 1. First and second, 1 out. 2-1 Twins, top of the 3rd. This 3rd inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Lindsay and Port Perry. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Joe Ryan just took off his right black Under Armour cleat I don't know if a rock got in there or something, but took it out, dumped it onto the mound, and then tied the laces back up and put it back on.
That's something you don't see every day. I can't remember the last time I saw a starting pitcher take a shoe off on the mound.
You know who's loving that right now?
Under Armour.
The Under Armour brand manager. You just got close-up shots on the TV broadcast on both sides of his shoes. 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
It's funny you say that because as he was tying up his shoe, I was thinking to myself, man, those are pretty sweet cleats.
And you wouldn't have even known what brand they were.
Where do you even get those?
It's like the polar opposite of the Zion Williamson broken shoe a couple years ago. 2-0 pitch fouled back, 2-1. Alejandro Kirk struck out swinging in the first inning. That was on a 4-seam fastball. Single to the outfield gives the Blue Jays a good chance to tie up this ball game. 2-1. Swing and a high fly ball foul to the right. Vasquez liked the pitch. Twins catcher nodding his head. It's 2-2. Slight shift for the infield defense. Just a little bit to the pull side. Gives Vlad the opportunity to take a big lead at first. Bichette is leading off second. Clemens, the second baseman, keeping him close. 2-2. Swinging a ground ball, left side, past the dive of the third baseman Lee into left field. Bichette around third. He comes in to score. Up to third goes Vladdy with a dive into the bag. It's an RBI single for Alejandro Kirk, and we're tied again. 2-2 in the third inning.
Well, that was a mistake from Joe Ryan. Left that sweeper right over the middle of the plate. It was a little bit of a spinner, and Alejandro Kirk, as he's done so often over the last month or so, he just hammers mistakes through the left side. A big RBI, moving Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up to third base as well with just 1 out in this inning.
And I'll keep saying it even after people get sick of it. Another 2-strike hit for Alejandro Kirk. It's unbelievable how this guy hits with 2 strikes.
I'll never get sick of you saying that.
I appreciate that.
I don't know if anybody else will, but I will.
So first and third for the Blue Jays. They've scored on Ryan in consecutive innings. And like you had mentioned, hugely important that Vladdy took that gamble and made it to third on a single to left field. You don't see that all that often, but Vlad had a big lead, big secondary, and was headed to third right off the jump. Never thought about stopping at second. Now a fly ball could give the Blue Jays a lead again.
Well, I think Willie Castro might have been shaded towards the left center gap just a little bit, so it took him a little bit longer to get to that baseball, and that gave Vlad the opportunity to take third.
First pitch to George Springer. Big hack and a miss on an elevated heater at 96. 0-1. Ryan about to throw his 60th pitch. And it's a swing and a miss. A big hack on another big elevated heater. 96 again, 0-2. Ryan only went 5 in his last start as well. That was against the Athletics. Gave up 4 runs in that outing. 0-2 pitch is fouled back. You could hear the grunt there from Ryan as he unleashed another 96-mile-an-hour heater in the direction of Springer.
That 0-2 swing from George Springer seemed like a 3-0 swing. That was a big one.
He's been taking big hacks. It's been one of the adjustments for him this year versus the previous 2 years, and he is the team's home run leader right now with 10. 0-2. Swing and a line drive left field. Base hit just inside the line, bouncing into the corner. In to score Guerrero. Kirk around to third. They'll stop him there. George Springer's RBI double makes it 3-2 Blue Jays in the third.
We'll talk about a guy that's taking advantage of mistakes from opposing pitchers. Joe Ryan again leaves a spinning sweeper elevated in that strike zone on the inner third. And George Springer hammered that thing just fair down the left field line for an RBI.
Big Daddy hacks with 2 strikes. He doesn't care about the count. He had seen 3 fastballs in a row. He just held back enough to keep that ball within the field of play.
I hope that's not your approach when you coach a Little League.
No, not for Little League, but for the major leagues. It's working for George Springer. That's his 14th double of the year. Now Nathan Lucas, first pitch swinging. Fouls one into the seats off to the left. 0-1. Nice response from the Blue Jays. After giving up 2 in the second, they score 2 in the third to take a 3-2 advantage. Nathan Lucas hitting with 2 in scoring position and 1 out. 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
This is a really important pitch coming up. You're behind in the count, 0-2. The Minnesota Twins have the infield in, and they're giving you the left side of the infield. We've seen Nathan Lucas shoot that big hole so many times this season already. I'm sure he's shortened up and really trying to go the other way right here.
0-2. Check swing on a pitch high. He went around. Strike 3.
It seemed like he wasn't expecting the elevated heater here, maybe expecting a split finger below that strike zone. He was thrown off by that pitch.
Ryan went 3 straight 4-seamers to strike him out. 5th K for the righty. Still a threat, though, for the Blue Jays. Second and third, 2 down. And Ernie Clement is up. He already has a hit today and a run scored. Kirk on third, Springer on second. First pitch swinging. Clement pops it up. Back of second base, Buxton will move forward, the center fielder, make a one-handed catch and end the inning. Blue Jays take the lead back. They scored 2 runs on 2 hits. RBI single Alejandro Kirk, RBI double George Springer. 2 left in scoring position, but it's 3-2 for the Blue Jays, middle of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Viva Mexico 250 from Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the Sirius XM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Get Air Miles reward miles on your next home improvement buys at Timbermart. Plus, take advantage of buy now, pay later financing options with your Timbermart project card. Start your project today. For details, visit Timbermart Canada's Building Center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 3-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the third, and a first pitch heater called a strike to Carlos Correa. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. Show Ali and Julia Kreutz will let Blue Jays talk after the game. A 1 pitch inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Line from Francis in the 1-1. Swing and a fly ball. Golfed out to shallow center field. Sprinting in Straw. Puts on the brakes. Makes the catch off to the left. 1 out.
That's a good pitch. A split finger at the bottom of the strike zone. Carlos Correa was out in front. Hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. Miles Straw doing a good job sprinting in and catching that baseball.
Nice for Francis to get an efficient first out. He had walked the leadoff hitter each of the first 2 innings. And the Blue Jays, looking at their pitching situation right now, would love to get a minimum of 5, but potentially even more out of Francis today if he's pitching well. 1 out, he offers to Cody Clemens. Fastball in there, strike 1. You look at the Blue Jays bullpen, and I think we can say for certain, no Brendan Little, no Eric Lauer, no Paxton Schultz, no Jeff Hoffman. 0-1. Curveball, called a strike, 0-2. Maybe I'll say Hoffman's in the not for certain, but it would be 3 in a row.
So Yariel could potentially go 2 innings.
Maybe.
Potentially.
He threw 24 2 days ago. I think at least you have him for 1. You got Fluharty. It would be a 3rd and 4 days, but I don't think you can be too picking and choosing with that. 0-2 offering to Clemens. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And then you got Chad Green, who pitched yesterday, but you could use him again today. You got Swanson, who hasn't pitched in a couple of days. I would almost certainly bet he'll get into the ballgame today. And Fisher went yesterday, but likely available today, too. 1-2 pitch outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So it's probably about half your bullpen is available. It's likely Fluharty, Rodriguez, Green, Swanson, Fisher, with maybe one guy in there not available potentially. 2-2. Curveball outside, ball 3.
And Bowden now at 59 pitches in the ball game. If I'm John Schneider, I'm probably pretty excited if Bowden can get through 5. Giving me 3 runs, giving me 2 runs would be exceptional.
His payoff pitch. Fastball popped up. Again, headed out towards center field. Miles Straw walking to the right, moving back now. You can see the wind blowing his jersey. He makes the catch, and there are 2 down.
And 2 relatively quick outs for Bowden Francis. That's a win.
Last inning was a really tough one for the pitch count. Walked a couple, gave up a couple hits, ended up facing 7 Twins. And it all started with Willie Castro, who steps to the plate now. He walked and scored in the second. He's batting with 2 outs and the bases empty in the third. 3-2 lead right now for the Blue Jays. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Expectation is that Jose Barrios goes tomorrow for the Blue Jays. A 1 pitch foul back, 0-2.
Gets a tough St. Louis team.
A team that we'll check in on soon. St. Louis Barn Grill Out of Town scoreboard we'll get to next inning. A team that's taken a series from the Dodgers. Looking for a sweep. And we won't tell you if they're winning or losing right now because that's for the out of town scoreboard. 0-2 pitch. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Bowden seems like he's regained the command of that fastball. Lost it a little bit last inning. 4 walks in this ball game, but this inning has been a little bit different for him.
2 outs on flyouts to center field. The 1-2 is sliced away foul. Backdoor slider hit the outside corner. I think they wanted it below the zone though, ideally. Pete Walker watching on from the top railing of the Blue Jay dugout. 1-2 pitch. In the dirt with the splitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I can tell you this, though. Pete Walker and John Schneider are locked in on Bowden Francis. It's almost like they're just both staring at him for the entirety of his pitches.
Chris Bassett right beside Walker as well. 2-2. Lined left field. Base hit over the leap of Barger. And down on the outfield grass. Fastball on the outer third, kind of middle in terms of north to south in the zone. And Castro picks up his first hit of the day.
Well, the target from Alejandro Kirk was down at that bottom corner. And like you said, Bowden Francis just left it up a little bit. It was on the black, but with the 2-strike approach of Willie Castro, he's just trying to go the other way. So that elevated pitch about thigh high is easier to hit.
Ty France to the plate, singled up the middle last inning, and the first pitch bounces in front of home, a curveball for ball 1. It's been a bounce-back year in a Twins uniform for Ty France. Struggled with Seattle and Cincinnati last season, but for some reason this ballpark has not been very friendly to him so far. 1-0. Outside 2-0. Coming into today, his on-base plus slugging has sat at 600 at home and almost 800 on the road. Talking about the difference between a potential all-star near 800 and a non-starting player at around 600. 2-0 pitch. Outside, ball 3. And yet, He's having a nice year, and he's had some big moments at home. He's had a couple walk-offs as a Twin. Walk-off single against the Mets on April 16th, and a walk-off homer on the 23rd against the Royals, 23rd of May. 3-0. Yanked it down and away, ball 4. 4-pitch walk is the 5th base on balls issued today by Francis. First and second, 2 down.
And just as I say, seems like he's regained the command of his fastball. He loses it there to Ty France. That last fastball was really nowhere near the strike zone. Let's see if he can lock back in.
And this is where we were talking about availability of relievers earlier, and you had mentioned his pitch count. 70 pitches now, not out of the third. That makes it more difficult to picture 5 innings. Still possible, but it's going to have to become a lot more efficient going forward. First pitch to Brooks Lee, curveball for strike 1.
He's thrown 33 balls, 37 strikes in this ball game so far. Not a great ratio.
This is a career high in walks in a game for Bowden Francis with 5. Previous high was 3. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lee hit a rope to right field on an elevated fastball in the second. 1 for 1 today. Next pitch, high and outside. Back pick over to first, and they caught him. They caught Ty France sleeping. Vladdy snuck in behind him, and Alejandro Kirk and Vladimir Guerrero bail out the Blue Jays, ending the inning. 3-2, Toronto leads after 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Halliburton has it pulling up and hitting. How many more times can this team do that?
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
That is why you love sports.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
That was out of this world, out of a sports movie.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
This is the ultimate group of professionals.
Live sports talk when you need it is on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The football talk doesn't stop on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
They're mentally tough, they're physically tough, and they're talented.
Stay informed with the latest news around the National Football League, leading up to the training camp tour.
Got to practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app at Radio Network.
The fourth inning is presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Huge play to end the third by Alejandro Kirk. We'll get to it in a sec. First, Alan Roden steps in. A brief delay, but now he's got 2 feet back in the box, and Joe Ryan looking in at him. Blue Jays 3, Twins 2 to start the fourth. The pitch. Ball to strike. After 2 quick outs, Bowden Francis allowed a hit and a walk in the bottom of the third, but they threw to the back runner. Alejandro Kirk with a back pick to first. Vladdy snuck in behind Ty France, tagged him out to end the inning. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss at a good splitter. 0-2. It felt like that inning might have been spiraling, and all of a sudden it came to a halt quickly.
Well, generally speaking, I don't love when catchers back pick with 2 outs because the risk doesn't really...
0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3.
The risk outweighs the reward. You're not giving your pitcher a chance to get that out. But I think in that situation, it was really beneficial because Bowden is struggling. He's throwing a lot of pitches. He had just walked Ty France. Alejandro Kirk probably said to himself, hey, I'm getting him out of this inning right there. And that's a really big play, potentially in this ball game.
One out after the strikeout of Rodin, and the pitch to Miles Straw is hit on the ground towards shortstop. Coming in, Carlos Correa. Quick transfer toss over to first to beat the speedy, sprinting Straw. 2 down.
And the reason why I don't love that play specifically is just because you see a lot of guys throw it away into right field. And there's a guy in scoring position. That guy will come around to score. And with 2 outs in the inning, I mean, chances are you're getting that guy out at home plate. So that's why I don't love that play. But a huge play for Alejandro Kirk. What a great job helping out his pitcher who is struggling with command.
Continues his great defensive year. Pitch to Bo Bichette, below the knees, ball 1. Quick 2 outs for Joe Ryan, who's also trying to work himself back into a rhythm. He's allowed 3 runs in the last 2 innings. 3-2 Blue Jay lead. Bases empty, the 1-0. Called a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bichette walked in the third, struck out in the first. 17 walks to 48 strikeouts this year for Bo. 1-1. Hit on the ground, foul, 1-2. You look at the strikeout rate of Bo Bichette. He is striking out on a per plate appearance basis, the least of his career. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2.
Seems to be pretty patient up there. I mean, in his first at bat, he watched, didn't swing the bat and struck out, so that's almost too patient.
Right.
But he seems to be taking really, really tough pitches recently, specifically today against Joe Ryan, too.
2-2 offering. Outside, Bichette started the hands but turned him back. It was a sweeper that started over the plate and ran away. Full count. Bichette looking to extend this inning. 2 out, spaces empty. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is on deck. The payoff pitch. Popped up. Back of the second baseman Clemens. Coming in from center is Byron Buxton to make the catch and end the inning. 1-2-3 for Joe Ryan in the top of the 4th. Blue Jays 3, Twins 2, middle of the 4th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Mami, tú solo escribes.
Hola, soy Andrés Jiménez y estás escuchando el béisbol de los Toronto Blue Jays en la cadena de Radio Sportsnet.
Mami, tú solo escribes.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Alongside former Major League hurler Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. 3-2 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th. Bowden Francis offers to Brooks Lee, and the first pitch fouled back, 0-1. Second plate appearance for Lee, although he was up at the plate when the third ended. Back pick got Ty France at first out of the hand of Alejandro Kirk. Kirk goes to his right leg to call the pitch, the 0-1. In the dirt with the split finger, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lee followed by Christian Vasquez and Byron Buxton, 8-9-1 in the order for the Twins. Francis with a 1-1. Curve misses outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bowden Francis just threw his 76th pitch. And there's action in the Blue Jays bullpen. Mason Fluharty is tossing. 2-1. Swing and a fly ball right field. Hooking toward the corner, and that ball is gone. Just inside the foul pole and just enough on it to get over the wall for Brooks Lee, his 5th home run of the season, and we're tied at 3 in the 4th.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bowden Francis missed his spot with that fastball. They were trying to go away, down and away with the heater, and he missed inside off the plate. Not a bad pitch, not a bad miss. Brooks Lee just gets the hands through, gets the barrel to it, and just got enough of it to get it out of here to right field. That is a tough pitch to hit out.
I mean, that's probably one of the better pitches Francis has thrown today.
It's a good miss.
First pitch to Christian Vasquez popped up foul into the seats, 0-1. But not the result the Blue Jays wanted, of course, and a 3-3 game now as Fluharty continues to warm. 0-1. Hit foul on the ground, 0-2. There is some news today, or in and around today, regarding other starting options for the Blue Jays going forward. Been told all week that today Max Scherzer will either throw a 3-inning live BP session or more of a simulated game. Either way, it'll be at the complex for the Blue Jays in Dunedin. 0-2. Fouled back, still 0-2.
So not at the complex in Jupiter?
Not at the personal. I heard he was at a facility he works at. Okay. So there was actually a facility when he threw his home pen in Jupiter with Tiger Woods. But yeah, he's at the complex. He's throwing 3 innings to someone. 0-2 to Vasquez, up and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Potentially, the step after that for Scherzer is to get into a rehab game. If he throws 3 innings and 55, 60 pitches, they might still have him shortened up in a rehab game, but he could throw maybe 4 innings in rehab after that. One-two is bounced. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The fact that he's gotten to this point, though, is a good sign for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And knock on wood or any material you'd like, we haven't heard anything. Nothing related to thumbs or backs or anything like that. 2-2. Fastball low, ball 3. And then there's still the looming Spencer Turnbull, who has made 5 appearances in the minor league system of the Blue Jays. 3 of them at Dunedin, 2 of them at AAA Buffalo. 3-2 pitch is leveled out to left field and deep. Vasquez watching it. That ball is gone. Bounced off the second deck in left field. Back-to-back homers for the Twins, who jump back in front 4-3 in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, Christian Vasquez knew that Bowden Francis was struggling with his command. It was a 3-2 count. He knew that he was going to come with something hard in the strike zone. He was all over that elevated heater, getting it out of here in a hurry.
Actually went into the second deck and then bounced out on a missed catch by a fan for Vasquez, his 2nd home run of the season. And here comes the top of the order. 84 pitches for Francis. Pitch to Buxton. Curve, 4 strike. Pete Walker back on the phone. Fluharty's still throwing, and you just get the feeling that this might not go much longer. 0-1. Curve inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, this is an important game for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's an important game for the Minnesota Twins. So you can bet that John Schneider will do everything he can to win this ball game. I mean, that's probably why Mason Fluharty's warming up, or has been warming up in this inning.
1-1 is a splitter called a strike, 1-2. Yeah, I mean, if you were going to sit there and say, hey, we've won the first 2, whatever happens, happens, you'd let Francis maybe throw 20 more pitches, get up to 105, 110. 1-2 pitch. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But unless something changes in terms of him getting outs more efficiently, looks like they're going to go into their bullpen early.
I would imagine this is the last hitter he'll face. With nobody out in this inning, 4-3 Twins lead, giving up 2 home runs in this inning already.
A couple of lefties about to come up as well. And Francis got a pitch clock violation, so that'll make it a full count.
It's actually an important pitch clock violation. Takes it from a 2-2 count to a full count against a very tough Byron Buxton. You don't want to walk him. He has a ton of speed, so you're probably going to have to throw something in the zone here, and Byron Buxton knows that.
Buxton has walked twice today. 3-2 pitch, hit on the ground left side, picked up at third on a dive. Barger rifles a throw to first in time to get the out. What a play. Against one of the fastest in the game, it needed one of the hardest throwing infielders in the game.
Over.
And Addison Barger bounces it over to first. Looks like the Twins are going to think about a review on that one. As they do, the Blue Jays are going to make a pitching change. That ball bounced off the bag, and Barger still made the diving stop before getting Buxton, at least for now. But the pitching change in place. The pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben. Let's check out the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. The return of the Big Cluckin' Deal. All-you-can-eat wings are on now for a limited time. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. In tennis, the French Open finally in the books. On the men's side, a marathon match that took 5 hours and 28 minutes. The longest French Open men's final in the Open era, and it's a win for Carlos Alcaraz, who comes back from down 2 sets against Jannik Sinner and wins Roland Garros. He saved 3 championship points to stay in the match. It's a 4-6, 6-7, 6-4, 7-6, 7-6 win. If you're keeping track, for the Spanish star, his second career win at the French Open and his 5th major. Alcaraz now 5-0 in finals at major tournaments. On the women's side of the bracket, American Coco Gauff won Roland Garros yesterday for the first time by defeating top-ranked Arnia Sabalenka 6-7, 6-2, 6-4. It's her second Grand Slam title and also makes her the first American woman to win the tournament since Serena Williams did it back in 2015. And, you know, we don't get a lot of updates from the NFL this time of year, but in the NFL in Pittsburgh, officially official, Aaron Rodgers putting pen to paper with the Steelers. That's from the team itself. It's a 1-year deal worth $13.65 million with incentives that could get it up to $19.5 million as the 4-time MVP lands with Mike Tomlin and new Steelers wideout DK Metcalf in Pittsburgh. Lots of primetime Steelers game on the schedule, so get used to seeing Rodgers in the yellow and black this year. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much. So, by the way, Byron Buxton still out on that big play by Bowden Francis. So it's 1 out, or pardon me, big play by Addison Barger. 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 4th. 4-3 for the Twins, and Mason Fluharty is in. 28th appearance for the lefty. His first pitch to Larnach. Front door sweeper, clips the zone, strike 1. 3.04 ERA for Fluharty, who isn't a side armor, but maybe more of a 3/4 angle guy. Comes from a weird arm slot. Cutter sweeper is his mix. And there's a sweeper on the 0-1 to get a swing and a miss. 0-2. Saw him running up to 92 miles an hour in his last outing, where he was great for the Blue Jays. Opener of this series. Inning and a third, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts in that outing. 0-2. Down and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's got a left-on-left matchup now with Larnach, and potentially one coming up after it with Matt Wallner. 1-2. Down and away with the cutter, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Twins typically platoon a lot. Their roster maybe isn't built to platoon quite as much in previous years. So whereas you might have seen them make surprising changes early, like taking out a guy near the top of their order in Larnach or Wallner, they don't really do that as much these days. 2-2 pitch as a sweeper popped up near third. Barger ranging in, and that'll be a much easier play for him. He makes chest-high catch near third. 2 down.
Such an uncomfortable swing from Trevor Larnach. That tells you just how good that pitch is. That sweeper to lefties down and away. Trevor Larnach doing everything he can to just try to get the barrel to it. Hits a little weak pop-up to Addison Barger over at third base, but Mason Fluharty has been so good this season for John Schneider.
His pitch to Matt Wallner. Cutter called a ball, easily had the zone, but it'll start 1-0. Pitch cut across the whole plate, landing with the full ball inside the strike zone, upper outer corner. 1-0. Sweeper hit on the ground to first, foul ball. Vladdy was playing deep, so he couldn't cut that ball off before it veered foul. If he's closer, he probably charges it and gets it fair. But it's an extra life for Wallner. It's 1-1. Well, it's a left-on-left matchup. Wallner loves breaking balls. He's hit very well against them this year, so a bit of an awkward one at times for Fluharty maybe. His 1-1 sweeper drops in for a strike, though, and it's 1-2.
You know what he can't hit?
That breaking ball.
That pitch. Down and away at the bottom of the strike zone. I bet a lot of money that that's not his hot spot.
The 1-2. Lined and a one-hopper to second, picked up by Ernie Clement. He'll throw over to first to end the inning. Fluharty comes in and gets a couple of outs, but back-to-back homers by the Twins, Lee and Vasquez, give Minnesota the lead through 4 innings. 4-3 for the Twins. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Road Dog Trucking Radio. We're more than just long hauls, wide loads, and truck stops.
We do have a decent amount of ground to cover.
What would you like to learn?
Training and entrepreneurship.
Current economic issues.
Tariffs and the impact they've had.
Things internally with the supply chain.
Fuel prices, pay getting cut.
How to not retire road.
Road Dog Trucking Radio. The business and trucking lifestyle channel.
Sirius XM 146.
And the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app. On PGA Tour Radio, everyone plays golf.
Peyton Manning with us.
I topped it on the first hole, hit a golf cart, made a birdie. That's really all I'm going to remember is a birdie. I'll forget about hitting the cart.
Aaron Rodgers in the building. Aaron, how we doing, fella?
Great now. We got that hole out of the way.
How'd you do?
I flared it to the right.
Oh,
just missed
my
the green.
God.
Steph Curry with us.
I played in a Corn Ferry event. I've won the American Century in Tahoe in the summer, so I've had a blessed golf life.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The fifth inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Twins on top 4-3. First pitch strike to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. The pitch. Outside, 1-1. Vladdy 0 for 1 today. A walk and a fielder's choice. They went back and they did assess an error to Carlos Correa on that missed flip. 1-1 pitch on the outer edge at 94, 1-2.
So they're saying that he should have made a good flip to second base.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah,
that's an easy play for him.
I think that's the proper ruling. Once he gets to the ball, if you're going to decide that's not a hit, then he should make the play. One-two. High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Saves Joe Ryan an earned run, as in theory Bo Bichette should have been out on that play and came around to score along with Vlad in the third. Blue Jays took the lead in the second, gave it back, took the lead in the third, gave it back. Now the 2-2 pitch hit on the ground towards short. Vladdy sprinting out of the box. Quick transfer throw by Correa. Beats him by a step. 1 out.
Carlos Correa is pretty smooth over there. Easy play, perfect throw across the diamond to get Vlad by about a step and a half.
He's one of the best in the game. On both sides of the ball, being a shortstop, but especially defensively. And he was, unless I'm forgetting someone, in this wave of huge shortstops now, it feels like he was on the forefront of that, 6'3". Pitch to Addison Barger, who played short coming up. Takes low, ball 1.
I bet Barger could still play short.
He has this year at AAA.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if I saw his name in the lineup at shortstop.
1-0 pitch. Called a strike, 1-1. I mean, he'd be an anomaly, not in the tall shortstop, but the widest shortstop you've seen in a while. 1-1. Hooked on the ground, foul. 1-2.
Yeah, he might have the biggest biceps out of all the shortstops, that's for sure. Most tall shortstops are tall and lean, like a Carlos Correa, not so much a tall and wide like an Addison Barger.
Yeah, you might see some bigger shortstop, but they're not quite as tall, maybe. You know, Jose Ramirez played shortstop coming up. 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Although Jose Ramirez back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, but he wasn't as wide as he is now.
That's true. Yeah.
He was actually pretty skinny.
2-2. Line shot foul to the left. That one goes out of play. Ryan jogged up to home plate to get the ball from Christian Vasquez. That was weird. New baseball, instead of getting him to throw to the mound, he got an underhand flip.
He's actually been very active this inning, jumping around, like you said, running into home plate to get that ball instead of just waiting for the throw back.
2-2 pitch, bounce behind the plate, foul. Vasquez thought it was in front, so he ditched his mask, but it's still 2-2. I mean, it's not the warmest day in Minneapolis. Maybe it's simply just about moving around. Wind is gusting in. Says it's 20, but feels like 15. Again, that's not super cold either. But Ryan, a California guy. 2-2. High ball 3. Ryan not happy with that one. Apologies to those listening at home. It's full count. 1 out, base is empty. 4-3 for the Twins in the top of the 5th. And the pitch. Outside, ball 4. Ryan bounced off the hill. I think he really wanted that one, but it'll go as a walk for Barger.
How about that take with 1 out? That's a big walk in this ball game potentially. With Alejandro Kirk coming to the plate. But Addison Barger taking that tough split finger just off the plate outside.
Ryan looks back to his middle infield. Points at Cody Clemens as they decide who's going to get a throw on a potential comeback or double play. Christian Vasquez will go out and talk to his hurler as Danny Coulombe, the lefty activated off the injured list today, starts to get loose. We can go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Get some baseball scores in a sec. But the NBA Finals Game 2 is on tonight. Pacers with a surprise win in Game 1. Not just that they were trailing, but also kind of the consensus underdog going into the series. But the 50-win Pacers up a game on the 68-win Oklahoma City Thunder. Pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Popped up. Foul. And out of play. Back behind home plate. 0-1. The world of baseball. Everyone in action today, but no AL East teams playing right now other than the Blue Jays. We do have one final. The Rays just edged out the Marlins in a battle of Florida teams, winning 3-2. 0-1 to Kirk. Again, hit back foul. 0-2. Yandy Diaz hit a 2-run homer for the Twins in that one after Canadian Otto Lopez started the scoring on an RBI single. And the game-winning run was knocked home in the 8th inning on a Brandon Lau sac fly. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. It's 4-3 for the Twins in Minneapolis. Runner on first, 1 out. 2-strike pitch to Kirk. Broken bat bouncer just past the mound to short. Correa, glove flip to second 1. Clemens to first, double play to end the inning. 6-4-3, all started by the smooth Carlos Correa. No runs, no hits, no one left for the Blue Jays. Middle of the fifth, Twins 4, Blue Jays 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rush Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Finals are here.
Everything Indiana does, Oklahoma City can say, we got one of those, and it's better.
Join the daily conversation on Sirius XM NBA Radio. Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine tip it off on the starting lineup.
They have zero weaknesses.
Then it's Rob Perez and Antonio Daniels on Give and Go.
Deserving conference champions on both sides.
And Justin Termini and Eddie Johnson get you ready for all the action on NBA Today.
They have too much talent.
Expert analysis and instant reaction throughout the NBA Finals is on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the Sirius XM app.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
This is John Paul Morosi. This week on the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown, I sit down with Hall of Famer Randy Johnson.
Losing my dad early in my career made me view the game a whole lot differently. It motivated me, and I pitched being a little bit angry, I guess.
The Road to Cooperstown airs Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the SiriusXM app. New episodes drop every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 4-3, the Twins leading, bottom of the fifth inning. Blue Jays are trying to sweep the Twins, something that Toronto has not done since 2016. But they already got 4 sweeps this year. They're pretty used to it, so maybe they can get another comeback here, down a run, go into the bottom of the fifth, and find a way to sweep the Twins. It'll be Minnesota hitting this inning, though. Carlos Correa leads off against Mason Fluharty. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball deep center. Backpedaling Straw, has room on the grass, couple feet in front of the track, makes the catch. 1 out.
I think Correa just missed that pitch, just got under it just a little bit. Gets a fly ball out to Miles Straw just in front of that warning track out in center field.
Welcome to the Timmermart broadcast booth. That's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. And while it was loud contact with the Blue Jays pitching situation today, they'll probably take 1 pitch, 1 out any way they can get it. New hitter into the ball game for the Twins with the lefty Fluharty on. Cody Clemens was set to bat, but Royce Lewis comes off the bench for Minnesota. And he'll bat from the right side, getting the platoon advantage on Fluharty. 1 out, base is empty. And the pitch. Cutter called a strike. Lewis, who was hitting in the 130s coming into this series, has had a pretty nice set. He went 3 for 3 with a walk in game 1. He went 0 for 3 yesterday with a walk, but overall it's been a good showing. 0-1 pitch, popped up foul. Out of play, 0-2. Right-handed hitter, slightly open stance, and just a little bit of a knee bend in his back right leg. 0-2. Way high and outside with the cutter. Lewis on the season hitting a .165, 4 doubles and a homer, 7 RBIs. This is his 28th game. A 1-2. Hooked foul down the left field line. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
There's a lot of confidence standing out on that mound right now. I love watching Mason Fluharty march around that mound. He's not afraid to throw any pitch in any location, in any count. Pretty cool to see, especially for a guy that really hasn't been around all that long.
Did not make the Blue Jays out of camp, was up early with them. But still really just getting experience at the big league level, but doing it well. 1-2. High with the cutter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Puts his glove over his head, does Fluharty, and then steps onto the rubber. Extreme first base side, and his right foot in front of his left in a closed-off set. 2-2 sweeper, hit foul again.
You think Mason Fluharty cares that Royce Lewis hit 2 home runs off of Kevin Gausman in that playoff game?
Do you think he even knows?
Well, I think he knows, but I don't think he cares.
Yeah. 2-2. Outside ball 3. Fluharty started to walk around the hill, but he'll go back to the top of it. I only ask if he knows because I imagine it's not the topic of a lot of discussion
no.
on the plane, in the hotel, and in the clubhouse. 3-2 pitch. Outside ball 4. Fluharty got ahead of Lewis 0-2, but missed a lot to the arm side. So Lewis with a pinch hit walk is on, and Willie Castro will come up to the plate. They don't need to lift him. He's a switch hitter, so he'll just turn around and bat from the right side. Pitch home. Cutter for a strike. 0-1. Castro aboard twice today. Single and a walk. Fluharty kicks and delivers. Swing and a hot shot through the left side of the infield. A base hit into left. Up to second marches Lewis. Stopping at first Castro, who's been aboard all 3 times.
And that's just a mislocation. Here comes John Schneider, but mislocation. They were trying to come in with that cutter. Mason Fluharty just left it out over the middle of the plate. Willie Castro continues to stay hot for the Twins.
So it'll be a pitching change for the Blue Jays. Fluharty gets an inning's worth of outs between the 4th and the 5th, but after getting the first out in the 5th, a walk and a hit has put 2 aboard for Minnesota. They lead 4-3 in the 5th. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Back to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Ben mentioned earlier the NBA Finals. Well, they got underway the other night with a real bang from the Pacers, who did it again, this time to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder. Tyrese Halliburton continuing his star-making turn in the playoffs, draining a shot just inside the three-point line with less than a second to go to improbably give the Pacers their first and only lead of the evening. They would hang on to win Game 1, 111-110, the final score, to steal home court advantage from OKC. Here are a bunch of wild stats in support of how crazy this win was. The Pacers turned the ball over 25 times, the most by a team in an NBA Finals win since the Blazers did it in 1977. They trailed by 15 points in the 4th quarter against a team with the best home record in the NBA and largely had no answers for SGA, the league MVP, who led all scorers in that game with 38 points. But what they did have was the league's new Mr. Big Shot. Tyrese Halliburton's now 6 for 7, or a little over 85% from the field, when taking a shot to tie or take the lead in the final 90 seconds of the 4th quarter or overtime. In these playoffs alone, that is the most such shots in a single playoff run since 1977. That's wild. Either way, Game 2 of this series will go later tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, so in just over 4 hours. And here's a fun stat for those of you who, like me, are fans of the CanCon. SGA, Lou Dort, Andrew Nemhard, and Benedict Mathurin combined to score in 72 points in Game 1. The most Canadian players have combined to score in any playoff game in NBA history. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much. Show Eric Swanson into the game. His 4th appearance of the season comes with first and second, 1 out in the Blue Jays, trailing 4-3, bottom 5. He pitches to Ty France in the dirt, ball 1. Swanson, through his first scoreless outing of the year in his most recent appearance, a scoreless inning against the Philadelphia Phillies on June 5th. Fastball, slider, splitter for the righty. Looks to second. A breath and the pitch. Splitter down and in, ball 2. This is a matchup of former teammates, both with the Seattle Mariners, before Swanson was dealt over to the Blue Jays in the 22-23 offseason. 2-0. Slider poked out toward right field. Near the line, this could be trouble. It's down on the warning track, bouncing into the wall. Lewis around to score. Castro right behind him. Up to second base goes Ty France. Castro stopped at third, so it'll be a one-run double. And it's 5-3 for the Twins, bottom 5.
Well, I'm actually surprised that Ty France got to that baseball. It's a 2-0 count. Most hitters are expecting something hard in that count. Eric Swanson flips in that slider there, down and away. Not a bad pitch. But Ty France is able to get the barrel to it and hammer that thing in the corner down in right field.
It's really been the bottom of the order for the Twins. Middle bottom that has been troubled today. Castro and France have each reached all 3 times. Here comes Brooks Lee, who homered last inning. The pitch. Splitter low, ball 1. Not to mention the guy behind Lee on deck right now, Christian Vasquez, went back-to-back. Homering right after Lee in the 4th. Every Twins hit has come from 6th or later in their lineup. 1-0. Fastball, called a strike. Grab the outside corner. It's 1-1.
Blue Jays have brought the infield in, trying to cut that run off at third base. Don't want to fall behind 6-3 here in the ballgame. 5-3 now for the Twins.
1-1. Bounce to the plate, blocked by the glove of Kirk. 2-1. Would it surprise you if they were a little careful here, first base open?
No, it wouldn't surprise me, especially with the count now 2-1. And Christian Vasquez did hit a home run in his last at bat, but he hasn't been great this season.
2-1 pitch. High and outside with the splitter, ball 3.
I think if you make good pitches and you don't fall behind to Christian Vasquez, there's probably a high chance that you get him out. So, I mean, especially now in a 3-1 count, I'm careful with him.
Single and homer today for Lee. Switch hitter batting left, the 3-1. Swing and a line shot foul. Hanging splitter top of the zone, got scorched into the seats down the right field line. It's full count.
Well, that's not where Eric Swanson wanted that pitch. I'm sure that, almost positive that they wanted that thing at the bottom of the strike zone. Brooks Lee was all over it.
France on second, Castro on third, 1 out. The payoff pitch. Fastball fouled away. Now in a full count, they go right after him. That was a fastball, maybe a little on the inner half, but caught a lot of the plate.
I think in a 3-2 count, you probably go after it. 2 strikes. You don't want to nibble, but when you're behind 3-1, 2-1, maybe nibbling's the right thing to do.
3-2. Fastball just inside. Ball 4. Bases loaded now for the Twins. Only 1 out. So Christian Vasquez up to the plate, hit his second home run of the season on an elevated 4-seamer that came back in the 4th off Bowden Francis. He's 1 for 2 on the day. The pitch. Low with the slider, ball 1. Prior to this series, Vasquez did not have an extra base hit since May 16th, but he doubled in the opener of this series and now has homered in the finale of the series. 1-0. Nasty splitter for a strike, 1-1.
That's a good pitch to get back in this count. See if he can throw another one, perhaps below the strike zone, get Christian Vasquez to swing and miss.
Splitter almost looked like it cut left before fading back right. 1-1. Another splitter, that time low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Haven't seen a ton of the fastball yet from Eric Swanson. Vasquez had asked for time, so Swanson with an extended look in. Now the right-handed hitting catcher taps the plate and brings the bat up to his right ear. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Went right back to the splitter below the zone, 2-2.
That's a good pitch right there. I'm actually surprised that Christian Vasquez took the split finger before that pitch. It was a very similar split finger, and you can see how uncomfortable he is right there with that swing.
Swanson looking for a ground ball or a strikeout. His 2-2. Fastball, caught him looking, strike 3. Had him totally fooled, looking for something else. That one breezed by at the knees, and there are 2 down.
Perfect pitch. I think he missed his spot by a little bit. They were trying to come up and in, missed down and away at the bottom of the strike zone. Nonetheless, a good pitch.
I mean, the take from Vasquez, it looked like as long as it hit the zone and it was a fastball, he was not getting the swing off. Infield backs up now. 2 outs in the first pitch inside to Byron Buxton. Still dangerous territory for Eric Swanson and the Blue Jays. Bases loaded. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Twins up 5-3. The 1-0. Hit on the ground, foul, 1-1. Buxton 0 for his last 10, including today. That's a 4-game span. It hasn't felt like it, though, because he's walked 5 times in those 4 games. 1-1 in the dirt with the splitter. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hitting where he is in the lineup, right at the top of the order, having the speed he has. I mean, if that's going to be your slump, 0 for 10, but you walk 5 times, probably don't hate that if you're Rocco Baldelli. 2-1. Splitter at the knees, called strike. Just trying to keep this guy healthy, Byron Buxton. He can be so good when he is consistently in the lineup. 2-2. Bounced it in front of home plate, got way on top of that splitter. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Big pitch coming up here for Eric Swanson. Want those guys on base to score. 5-3, that's doable. 7-3, that's seems like a taller task for the Blue Jays offense.
All 3 runners will be off on the pitch. Castro at third, France at second, Lee at first. 2 outs, bases loaded, and the full count pitch. Hit on a line foul. That one raced down the left field line, and it's still 3-2. Swanson set. Another 3-2. Chopped back foul behind home. Fastball on the outer third. Buxton reached out and bounced it behind him.
Again, missed his spot by quite a bit. They're trying to come in, left that thing outer third, maybe a little bit of the black, but got away with one there. Byron Buxton just fouling it back.
So for a 3rd time in a row, Swanson with a 3-2 pitch. He kicks and offers. Fastball fouled back. That one over the middle and a near miss. Buxton spun it right back into the netting.
Sure, Eric Swanson is thinking, hey, man, just hit that thing fair. Right. Nothing more stressful than a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Swanson's already thrown 23 pitches coming in the middle of this inning. It's a thinner bullpen day for the Blue Jays. And the 3 pitchers they have used have not necessarily been very efficient with their pitches so far. Now Swanson stepping off. I think he's got a pitch clock situation, or pardon me, a pitch calm situation. Steps back onto the rubber. In the set, looks back to second at France. And the 3-2. Downstairs, ball 4. Walks in a run. It's 6-3 for the Twins.
Well, Byron Buxton is screaming at his dugout right now. You can see how big this game is for them. Letting everybody know that he did his job scoring that run. Eric Swanson walks in the 6th run of the ball game for the Minnesota Twins.
Twins have been walked a lot today. That walk to Buxton is the 8th walk that the Twins have had overall. And we are not through 5 innings. First pitch, Trevor Larnach takes a strike, 0-1. 6-3 Twins. They've scored 2 in the inning. Both of those runs will be charged to Mason Fluharty. Now all 3 base runners are Eric Swanson's. 1 pitch is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swanson entered with 1 out and runners on first and second. It's been a double, a walk, a strikeout, and a walk since then. One. Fastball misses low. 2 balls and a strike. Twins with 6 runs on 7 hits today. Blue Jays 3 runs on 4. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Nice splitter below the knees. 2-2. "28 pitches now in the inning for Eric Swanson. And time is asked for by the left-handed hitter Trevor Larnach.
It's an important pitch coming up because you don't want to go to 3-2, but you also don't want to give Trevor Larnach something he can drive here.
2-2. Fastball lifted out to left field. Charging in Rodin. Curls toward left center and makes a one-handed catch to end the inning. The Twins score a pair of runs. They come up with 2 hits, but also 3 walks combined from Fluharty and Swanson. And it's now 6-3 for Minnesota through 5 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gausman t-shirt giveaway, presented by Ryobi. Free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community.
Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust. For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This TSC Showstopper deal is like 2 stylish pillows for your feet. Save 30% on Skechers slip-in sandals on June 12th at tsc.ca. Kick up your summer style with these lightweight sandals. Available in 6 fun colors. With heel pillow technology that supports every step. Save 30% on Skechers slip-in sandals. The best offer of the day on June 12th. Shop exciting offers every day at tsc.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Blue Jays up 3-2 on a wacky play to give Toronto the lead.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Show Ali's our host, Nick Blackmore's our producer, and Tom Young, our technical director. Following the game, stick around. Blue Jays talk with Show Ali and Julia Kreutz. You can already get your text in. 590-590 is the number to text. New pitcher for the Twins. Second appearance of the series for Cole Sands. Right-hander takes over in a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. First pitch to Alan Roden, hit very high out to right field. That one is going to hook foul, but it had more than enough to get out of the yard. That one goes over the high wall and right, but wide of the foul pole, so it's allowed first strike. .3 ERA for Sands in 27 innings this year. His 0-1 pitch spins outside, a splitter that missed away, 1-1. Right-hander's got a cutter, four-seamer, splitter, and sinker. Also an occasional curve. His 1-1. Splitter low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Just the third time up for Alan Roden. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI double and a strikeout. 2-1. Hit foul. It was inside a cutter, and Roden turned on it into the first base dugout. Following Roden, Miles Straw and Bo Bichette hitting for the Blue Jays. 6-3 Twins. Could have been more, but Straw threw out Correa trying to score on a fly ball to center field. 2-2. Outside, ball 3.
The baseball gods were on Braden Fisher's side. Giving up 2 weak hits. He deserved that.
He did. Heck of a play from the Gold Glover and Straw. 3-2 pitch. Lifted out to left field. Playable for Willie Castro. Near the foul line, now he backs up, makes the catch. And there's 1 out. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Cardinals, who the Blue Jays will see tomorrow, made it closer against the Dodgers. A Wilson Contreras RBI single has it at 5-3 for the Dodgers over the Cardinals in the 7th. And the one divisional game we have not covered yet, Red Sox-Yankees coming up. Rubber match, 7 o'clock tonight. First pitch to Miles Straw is a cutter for a strike. Hunter Dobbins takes on Carlos Rodon, who's had a fantastic season, his best so far as a New York Yankee. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Oliver out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. One count, 1 out the pitch. High, 2-1. Cole Sands, a 5th rounder by the Twins in 2018 out of Florida State. Kicks and offers. Swing and a miss on a good cutter. Just off the plate, down and away, 2-2. Chris, where did you play in the Cape League again?
Falmouth.
Cole Sands, 2 years with the Falmouth Commodores.
2 years.
2 summers, back-to-back.
You have to be a stud to be there as a freshman.
Around. 2-2 pitch is lifted out to center field. Buxton moving back, and a jog makes the catch, 2 down.
Yeah, you don't see many freshmen in the Cape. I know that obviously there are freshmen, but most guys that go up there are in their sophomore or post-sophomore year, draft-eligible guys.
Yeah, he went post freshman year, so post his first year as an 18-year-old to the Cape.
Yeah, you have to be a stud to be a freshman there.
I thought maybe there's a chance. Some guys go back before they get drafted, try and boost the draft stock a little.
Yeah, it's not so much the 2-year thing. It's more the freshman sophomore versus sophomore junior.
He was a mix of starter and reliever in the Cape League, but a starter full-time in college. 2 outs, he pitches now to Bo Bichette, and it's down and away, ball 1.
I wonder what host family he had. Should ask him.
Twins come to town. Ask him. One 0. Called the strike, 1-1. Blue Jays faced Sands a couple times in 2024 and got to him, including 3 earned runs in an inning and a third on May 11th of 2024. Is 1-1. Yanked down and away, 2 balls, 1 strike. But when he pitched against Toronto 2 days ago, pitched a scoreless 9th inning. And at the time, the Twins were trailing 6-4. Twins up 6-3, 2 outs, bases empty. The 2-1 pitch is hit high in the air by Bichette, over the netting right side and foul into the seats, 2-2.
Sands pitched in 62 games last year for the Twins. Didn't start a game, but he was 9-1. Not that the win-loss record matters out of the bullpen, but that's pretty incredible.
3.28 ERA last year. 2-2. Low ball 3. And we were talking sometimes about the oddity of reliever records. When you have a good ERA, then your wins, to me, hold up a lot more than when you have a tough ERA. Payoff pitch. Swing and a fly ball, center field. Backswing caught the catcher Vasquez, and out in center, Byron Buxton barely had to move to make the catch and end the inning. 1-2-3 on 3 flyouts for the righty Cole Sands at the 7th inning stretch. Twins 6, Blue Jays 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Drywall, an essential part of many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Way back, and Jimenez has done it again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Show Alley here with you. The Blue Jays trailing 6-3 as we welcome you back inside baseball control. Let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. And no hockey this weekend because the Stanley Cup final was off for a couple days as things shifted to Florida. But a pair of thrillers to start. Game 1, a 4-3 overtime win courtesy of Leon Draisaitl. Game 2, a 5-4 double OT winner courtesy of Brad Marchand. His second of that game sends the series back to Sunrise tied at 1 game apiece. 4 different Panthers scoring in that game, including Sam Bennett who notched his 13th goal of these playoffs, a Panthers team record. Remarkably, it was also his 12th road goal of these playoffs, which is an NHL playoff record. Either way, Bennett, Marchand, and the Panthers will be at home for Game 3. It'll go in Florida on Monday night on Sportsnet and the CBC. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Blue Jays trailing 6-3 to the Minnesota Twins. It'll be a second inning of work for Braden Fisher. Gave up 3 hits, 2 of them incredibly soft hits, but did not allow a run in the 6th inning. He pitches in the 7th against 8-9-1 in the Twins order. Brooks Lee, Christian Vasquez, and Byron Buxton. First pitch to Lee is a fastball poured over at 92, strike 1.
It's pretty rare that you look at the box score and you see a guy who's pitched 1 inning, he's given up 3 hits, but no runs.
Yeah. It's even rare to think that he deserved to give up no runs in that inning, but he really did. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Got it because with 1 out and the bases loaded, Ty France hit a shallow fly ball to center. Probably a pretty aggressive move by the Twins to send Carlos Correa instead of letting Lee hit, and Straw threw out Correa at the plate. Now a 1-1 curve in there for a strike, 1-2. Lee playing in his 49th game of the year, missed early parts of the season with a back injury. 1-2. Curve, check swing, peel down to third base, and he did go. Rung up by Chad Whitson is Brooks Lee, who knew it. He started walking back right away. 1 out.
Yeah, I know I've said it before, but I really like that curveball. When you can get big league hitters, whether it's Brooks Lee, Carlos Correa, it doesn't matter, be way out in front of your curveball and make those awkward attempts at a breaking ball, that's when you know that you have something. And Braden Fisher, it's almost like every single at bat, someone's swinging wildly at that curveball.
First pitch curved to Vasquez, hit on the ground at third. Barger tosses to first. Nice dig on the backhand side by Vladdy. 1 pitch to Vasquez, and now there are 2 outs in the inning. It is interesting. I talked to Fisher not that long ago, and if you look at his usage earlier, it seemed like when he came up, the slider was his preferred breaking ball. He threw it a lot more. He told me that's a pitch he'll throw all the time. I don't know this for sure, but it seems like maybe Pete Walker or some of the other people like the curve more because all of a sudden it's more curves and the slider mixes in. First pitch to Buxton's a fastball at 96, 1-0.
Well, the reason why I personally like that curveball better, and it's really hard to throw, that's why not many guys throw it, is it's in the zone for a shorter amount of time. So it's harder to barrel up, harder to get that good piece of wood on it.
1-0 pitch. Slider for a strike, top of the zone, 1-1.
And most sliders are just in the zone a little bit longer because it doesn't have that depth. That curveball is pretty incredible.
Comes right over the top as well, so he really gets the downward action on the pitch. 1-1, curveball foul tipped. Buxton stumbles over the plate, 1-2.
And when you get a guy like Byron Buxton, who's one of the best, or could be one of the best, stumbling over like that, swinging wildly at it, that tells you it's a good pitch.
2 down, bases empty. Fisher's 1-2. Hit on a rope to third, blocked by Barger, slings to first, and Guerrero blocks it, but does not pick it out of the dirt. Buxton might have beat it out anyway. I think that'll go as the first hit of the series for Byron Buxton.
I think Addison Barger bobbled that ball over at third base, and he looked up, realized that Byron Buxton was motoring down the line. He did bobble it. Had to get rid of it quickly, kind of sidearmed it a little bit, one-hopped Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's already made a good play on a one-hop in this inning from Addison Barger, wasn't able to come up with that one.
They do give Barger an error on that one, and now the pitch to Trevor Larnach called a strike. 0-1. They gave him an error fielding rather than throwing on that play. A 1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a curve, and quickly back to a 2-strike count as Braden Fisher ahead of Larnach, 0-2. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will lead it off for the Blue Jays in the 8th inning. They're trying to get there right now. 2 outs, a runner on first, and Fisher's 0-2. Check swing, curve low, appeal down to third, no swing. Kirk applied the tag just to be safe because that pitch actually bounced.
a really effective pitch here, 1-2, after you've thrown 3 straight really good 12-6 breaking balls, is a 4-seamer right at the hands at 97 miles an hour.
The pitch. Fastball in and up. It's popped up out to center field. Miles Straw makes the catch. He went with the elevated heater, and it worked out for him to end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left, and it's still 6-3 Twins as we go to the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh, my goodness!
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! Thank you for hanging out with us today during the Toronto Blue Jays game and making a difference in our Toronto community. Every single view, just by being here, you're making a difference. And now that we've gotten your attention, please hit that subscribe button and help us grow this amazing community. We are over 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and I can't wait to take this plaque up to SickKids Hospital this summer, possibly a Blue Jays game as well. Maybe even TFC, because that's what we do here, all the Toronto sports. So welcome to everybody that's new. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button right now, and thank you to everyone who has hit that subscribe button along the way and allowed us to get these awesome awards from YouTube and keep this Toronto sports community going. Now let's get back to the baseball. Go Jays, go! We'll see you back in the chat.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Blue Jays at Target Field, trailing the Twins in the series finale. It's 6-3 for Minnesota. Rocco Baldelli goes into his bullpen, pulls out the setup man, Griffin Jacks, and a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Second day in a row for Jacks. Here's his pitch to Vlad. Swing and a line drive out to right field, but he hit it right at Walner, 1 out. It's been an uncharacteristic season so far for Griffin Jacks. ERA entering the appearance at 4.82, more than double the earned run average he had last year. And we saw yesterday a little bit of the struggles. Addison Barger doubled and George Springer homered to give the Blue Jays the lead late yesterday. Pitch to Addison Barger, outside ball 1.
Although in Griffin Jacks' defense, that ball that George Springer did hit out was on the black inside. Not an easy pitch to hit out, but to your point, Griffin Jacks has struggled this year.
1-0 pitch cut on and missed, 1-1. Doesn't mean the stuff is any less nasty, though, for the right-hander, who can throw upper 90s, maybe even touch triple digits, but doesn't use his fastballs a ton. Bounced a changeup there. It's 2-1. He leads with his sweeper, and then a power change that sits in the low 90s is his second pitch. Four-seamer, sinker, and cutter all factor in as well. 2-1. Barger swings and misses at a good sweeper, back foot, 2-2. After Barger hits, we can go over to the Bet365 standings. Actually, Barger will ask for time, so download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 2-2. Grounded foul right side. Only one final today of substance. Tampa Bay Rays already won today, but the Yankees enter leading the division 39-24. Blue Jays in second, 35-29. Rays now half a game behind Toronto, 35-30. The Red Sox 31-35, and the Orioles 26-37. 2-2 pitch is hitting the air out to left field. Coming in, Castro makes the catch. And they're 2 down. Blue Jays open today with a game lead on Minnesota for the final wild card spot. Blue Jays are in the top wild card spot. And then Rays sandwiched in between the Blue Jays and Twins. Half a game behind Toronto right now and half a game ahead of Minnesota. Pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Called a strike. Might have been outside. 2 outs and the bases empty. 6-3 Twins. Top of the 8th. After a lot of runs, all of the runs in this game in the first 5 innings, the offenses have both cooled off. 0-1 pitch is hit in the air out to left center. Buxton going back, makes the catch in front of the warning track to end the inning. Twins relievers have retired the last 10 that they have faced for Twins pitchers overall, and because of that, it's still Minnesota 6, Blue Jays 3. Middle of the 8th inning, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 8th inning. Twins 6, Blue Jays 3, and a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. Paxton Schultz is on for Toronto for this 8th inning. The pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Schultz against Matt Wallner to start the inning. Carlos Correa, Royce Lewis to hit as well. Right-hander with a breath. And the pitch. Called a strike. I have to admit, I'm a bit surprised to see Paxton Schultz in this game. He threw 40 pitches on Friday and 30 on Tuesday. But he is a long guy built up to throw a lot of pitches, and probably asking him for 1 inning. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I tend to agree. 40 pitches, 1 day off, pitching again. It seems like a bit much, but when you're a guy in Paxton Schultz's situation, I would probably give the thumbs up to Pete Walker before the game.
1-1. Called to strike, a changeup on the inside corner, 1-2. I mean, there's not a lot of days where you come in when you're in your first couple weeks in the big leagues, I imagine, and say, hey, I'm not feeling it. But they'll ask him for a shorter appearance, pitch the 8th, and if there is a bottom of the 9th, then the game's changed a lot, and likely they go to one of the high leverage guys available. See Yariel Rodriguez stretching a little bit in the bullpen. 1-2. High heater. Misses up top. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I would imagine if it was a 1-run game, maybe the Twins winning 4-3, even 5-3, you probably would have seen Yariel in this situation. Like you said, he's getting loose down there.
2-2. Change up low, ball 3.
Well, not getting loose, but moving around.
Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Right on left, the payoff pitch to Matt Wallner. Swing and a miss, he got him. Threw the changeup in a full count. It dropped near the ankles, but Wallner had started going and couldn't hold back. 1 out.
Matt Wallner had a look on his face like, come on, man, it's a 6-3 ball game. You're flipping in a 3-2 changeup. Throw me something hard there. But a good pitch from Paxton Schultz.
Schultz is looking to rebound off of a tough opener appearance. Kind of similar to Braden Fisher, who we just saw. If you take that out, his numbers have been fantastic this year. First pitch to Carlos Correa, up and in, ball 1. Although maybe a little different for Schultz. Fisher hadn't really been a starter at any point, just very early in his minor league career. So that's a whole new routine for him. Schultz a little more used to that starting routine. 1-0. Swinging a line drive over the head of the third baseman. Barger down and left. Cut off near the track by Rodin. That'll limit Correa to a hard 1-out single.
Even though I'm sure John Schneider and Pete Walker told Braden Fisher in that opening situation, hey, treat this like it's the 7th inning. Don't go out there and try to be a starter. Don't go out there and do anything differently than what you've been doing. It's really hard to go out there and treat the first inning of a ball game like it's the 7th inning. And I'm sure Braden Fisher was going through all those thoughts in his head. And I don't want to make excuses for him, but that might have contributed to the outing that he had during that start.
It was an outing that looked a lot different than all the other guys. Royce Lewis to the plate. He's got a hit and a walk coming off the bench in the 5th inning in this game. And the first pitch is ripped up the middle, a base hit into center field. He's going to be sad to see the Blue Jays leave town Royce Lewis. He's got 5 hits in the series, plus 3 walks.
Yeah, he sure does hit Blue Jays pitching well. Like you said, 5 hits in this series already. 3 for 3 on Friday, 2 hits.
So a threat here for the Twins. First and second, 1 out. 6-3 for Minnesota. And another guy, middle to bottom of the order, having a great day. Willie Castro, 3 for 3 with a walk, 2 runs scored. Right on left pitch. Fastball down the middle. It was a cut fastball for strike 1. Correa on second, Lewis on first. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a high 4-seamer. Castro smacked the barrel like he was angry at the bat. It's 0-2. Looking out to the Twins bullpen, a pair of relievers getting loose. Yohan Duran if they need a save. Justin Topa if the Twins add on. Maybe 1 is enough, or perhaps they'd want 2 just to be safe. A look to second by Schultz and his 0-2 pitch. Fastball high, check swing, appeal to third, and he did go. Castro knew it, turning away. He strikes out swinging on a 4-seam fastball, and there are 2 down.
Well, I can tell you this much. The Twins want this ball game, so even if they score another run, you still might see Duran in the ball game.
Yeah, I think when you look at where these two teams are right now, how important wins against each other could be, I might even go to Duran in an 8-3 game just to make sure you got the win, or at least keep them loose.
I'd think about it for sure.
Ty France is up first and second, 2 down in the pitch. Called a strike. And they've been a streaky team, the Twins. The last thing they want to do is start a losing streak that could really lengthen out. They've lost 3 in a row coming into today, but are in good position, up 6-3 with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. Next pitch up top, misses for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to France. First and second and 2 outs. Ty France with a couple of hits, a walk today, and a fly out. 1-1. Checked his swing on a change low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Looking ahead to the 9th, the Blue Jays will have Springer, Lucas, and Clement due up. Bench options for Toronto include Andres Jimenez, Davis Schneider, Jonathan Clase, 2-1 pitch hit foul, 2-2, and Tyler Heineman. France steps back in after the foul ball, taps the plate, and looks out to the right-hander Paxton Schultz. 2 aboard for the Twins, 2 outs, and a 2-2 count, bottom 8. Schultz rocks and offers. High fastball, ball 3. Wanted that just above the belt. Instead, it was more letter height, and France laid off of it right out of the hand. Schultz with a big nod to Alejandro Kirk comes set. His 3-2. Hit high in the air, foul right side, and into the seats out of play. Still full count. New baseball for Paxton Schultz. Palms it up and then tucks his left hand back into his glove. Brings his hands together, belt high, and looks back in at tie France. 6-pitch battle so far. The 3-2 again. Called strike 3. Fastball at the knees. France doesn't like it, but it had the zone. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Schultz. Around a pair of singles. We go to the 9th inning. Blue Jays need 3 to keep this game going. They trail 6-3 in Minneapolis against the Twins. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Finals are on Sirius XM.
Behind the board, knocks down an 8-foot jumper, and SGA has come to play tonight, baby.
It's MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder.
This dude is the best player in the league right now.
And Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers.
Halliburton unloads a 3. Oh, that did not happen.
It's Game 2 tonight at 8 Eastern on NBA Radio Channel 86. Hear the Pacers and Thunder announcers on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app. From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The 9th inning is brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza, actually Canadian. 6-3, the Twins leading the Blue Jays, and Twins closer Yohan Duran is into the game to take on George Springer, Nathan Lucas, and Ernie Clement. The pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Defensive switches we'll get to in a sec, but first the flamethrower deals to George Springer and misses with a breaking ball down and away, ball 1. Matt Wallner has been lifted from this ballgame. Harrison Bader brought in defensively. Bader will take over in left field, and Willie Castro moves from left to right. Duran allowed a run to the Blue Jays yesterday on 2 hits. His 1-0 pitch runs way inside. Springer dancing back out of the way of a 96-mile-per-hour splitter, as only he can throw. 2-0. Duran averaging 100 on his 4-seam fastball this year. Will throw that about a third of the time, the splitter about a third of the time, and then mix in the curve and sweeper about a third of the time. The pitch Swing and a grounder foul. Another 96-mile-per-hour splitter. Pounded into the ground left side, 2-1.
Interesting sequence from Duran so far in this at-bat. He's up by 3 runs. He went knuckle curve, splitter, splitter. Hasn't thrown a fastball yet to George Springer.
He winds and offers. Swing and a miss at another splitter. 2-2. Gave up hits to Tyler Heineman and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. yesterday. A lot would have to happen for either of those two to hit this inning. 2-2. Swing and a foul off another splitter. He's gone splitter happy against George Springer.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't have the feel for that fastball in the bullpen. I have no idea, but that's 5 pitches in this at-bat, 0 fastballs. With a 3-run lead, I think that's the most important thing to remember.
And with one of the best fastballs in the game. Another 2-2. And another splitter. That one slams off the backstop. Apologies if you're wearing headphones. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
97 miles an hour, too, with that split finger.
It's almost a fastball, but it doesn't stay as straight, so a little harder to control. Again with a 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to chase the curve down and away. And there's one out.
I'm wondering if George Springer in his head there was thinking he's got to throw me a fastball at some point. That was the type of swing that he made there. A wild swing at that slider.
You wouldn't really blame him.
That curveball.
7 pitches. You'd figure you'd get 1 fastball from the second hardest thrower in the game. But didn't get a single one. Here's Nathan Lucas. Batting with 1 out and the bases empty. The pitch. Hit foul, 99. There's the first fastball of the day on the outside edge. It's 0-1.
But you're right, though. That split finger that he throws at 96, 97 miles an hour is essentially just a pretty good sinker.
Right. A 1. Fastball again, fouled back again, 0-2. They shift Lucas to the pull side pretty aggressively. But if you look at his 31 hits this year, 10 to left, 10 to center, 11 to right. So not necessarily where he's actually hitting the ball. 0-2. Breaking ball, looped through the middle and bounces into center field for a base hit. Didn't hit that all that hard at all. He got jammed completely, but just enough on it to run through the middle of the infield, and the Blue Jays have a first base runner of the inning.
Yeah, that was just an elevated curveball from Duran. And like you said, didn't really hit it all that hard at all, but got enough of it to sneak it through that hole at the top of the infield near second base.
Now Ernie Clement up, and his job, get on base by any means possible, and then the tying run would come up. It's 6-3 Twins, 1 on, 1 out in the 9th, and the pitch. Hit on the ground, foul. A splitter in on the hands, 0-1. Clement has 1 hit today and 3 tries, also a pair of flyouts. A 1. Down and away with the breaking ball. Clement started to swing but held up. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck, Alan Rodin represents the tying run right now for the Blue Jays. Toronto has not scored since the 3rd. 1-1 pitch. Popped up. Foul first base side. Playable for France. Steps onto the side warning track. Makes the catch on the dirt with 2 hands. And the Blue Jays are down to their last life. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Alan Rodin up to the plate for the Blue Jays. Runner on first base is Nathan Lucas. They will not hold him now with 2 outs. Don't be surprised if Lucas moves up to second just to avoid having an extra force out available on the field on one of these first couple pitches. Rodin 1 for 3 today with an RBI double. The pitch. High, ball 1, and Lucas will scoot up to second on defensive indifference. Does not get a stolen base for that. Well, Alan Roden, pretty much his whole pro career, has been a good on-base guy. They'd love some of that right now. 1-0 pitch. Low, check swing. 2 balls, no strikes. Roden at AAA this year running a .446 on-base percentage. 2-0. Chop towards first base. This should do it. Fielded by France. He'll wave off Duran, get to the bag, and win it for the Twins. 6-3, the final score. Twins got to Blue Jays pitching early with the help of some walks and cruised from there.
Yeah, I think that's the story of this ball game. The Twins were able to capitalize on the Blue Jays and the lack of command, especially from Bowden Francis. Bowden Francis in this ballgame walked 5 guys. He'll have to figure something out, whether it's throwing inside effectively or just throwing more strikes in general. But it was a good weekend overall. I think the Blue Jays need to take that onto the plane with them. Don't think any negative thoughts on their way to St. Louis. It was a big weekend, taking 2 of 3 from the Minnesota Twins.
They still win the series, but they do not win today. 6-3, the final score, as the Twins get 1 of 3 at home at Target Field. We're going to take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll wrap it up for you and send you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Marshall smashes the ball to right field. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball. 6-3, the Twins defeat the Blue Jays today at Target Field. Blue Jays win the series, but the Twins take the finale. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. We're going to get you over to Blue Jays Talk in just a matter of minutes. We already talked about it, Chris, today, the struggles from Bowden Francis. He went 3 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, career high, and 2 strikeouts. On the other side, Blue Jays facing Joe Ryan, and against Joe Ryan at least, they did a pretty good job. A guy who entered the game and finished the game with a sub-3 ERA, gave up 4 hits and 3 runs, including 3 walks and 6 strikeouts in 5 innings. Early in this game, the Blue Jays really had the bats going.
Yeah, they did, and I think that's the let's take a positive look at this game. I think early on against a very tough pitcher, like you said, Joe Ryan, who's been pretty dominant this season overall, the Blue Jays put together some good at-bats. They took some tough pitches going into the game. I had mentioned that the split finger, the sweeper combination, along with that really good fastball, is going to be tough for the Blue Jays, but they put together good at-bats. They hit the ball the other way. And they had a lead early on in this ball game, and the Twins were able to claw their way back into this ball game with some help from the command issues that the Blue Jays had. But like I said, overall, a very good weekend in Minnesota against a tough Twins team. The Blue Jays take 2 of 3, get on that plane, forget about this loss, and move on to tomorrow's game.
After Joe Ryan came out, it really did stop for the Blue Jays. We hadn't seen necessarily them at full strength, or at least seen them pitch as well as they could have, but the Twins bullpen came out in the 6th inning, and from the 6th to the 9th, they allowed 1 base runner, retired 12 of 13, and this is what they do. That's why they ripped off that 13-game win streak, or at least part of it. When you can go Stewart, Sands, Jax, Duran, it's going to be tough to come back from a multiple-run deficit.
Yeah, when you have that type of bullpen, it really shortens ball games, and that's why you saw early on, I think it was maybe the 2nd inning, John Schneider brought the infield in. He knew that they couldn't give up many runs, especially with Joe Ryan pitching, and like you said, Stewart, Sands, Jax, Duran. If you don't have a lead in the 6th inning, good luck against this bullpen, and I think that really showed today against the Twins.
Twins win the game 6-3. 3 runs for Toronto on 5 hits, 1 error, 5 left for the Twins. 6 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, 13 left. Win for Joe Ryan, he's 7-2, and the loss for Bowden Francis, he goes to 2-8. 10th save of the year for Duran. 2-hour, 57-minute game in front of just over 22,000 at Target Field. And with the Twins win, Blue Jays loss, both teams are at 35 and 30 in a tie in that wild card positioning right now. Blue Jays are back tomorrow. They start a series against another tough team, another team in a playoff spot, at least right now. It's the St. Louis Cardinals that will host the Blue Jays, 7:45 Eastern. First pitch, Andre Palante and Jose Barrios duel at Busch Stadium. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. From our technical director, Tom Young, our producer, Nick Blackmore, our host, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. We hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great finish to your weekend, and get your calls and texts in. Show Ali and Julia Kreutz host Blue Jays Talk, and it starts right now.
Well, Jules, no doubt about it. Tough loss today. Never fun when you lose, certainly. But with this series over, I view it like this. Despite what was certainly a disappointing outing today, the Jays have still won 10 of their last 13 games. 13 of 19 if you go a little further out to that Padres series. Yes, they did wrap up a 4th straight series win, but some things to figure out with the rotation and with Bowden Francis in particular today. They take a 3-2 lead. They are outscored 4-0 the rest of the way, and it's a 6-3 loss that drops the Jays to 35 and 30 on the season.
Yeah, listen, you will take the series win for sure, Show, and with the way that the Blue Jays are playing, it's okay if you're maybe not as desperate about this loss as certain losses in the past this season have made you. It's kind of understandable, but still, the one big question that remains, and we will see what the Blue Jays do about this, is Bowden Francis. I have to believe that the conversations, about maybe giving him a bit of a breather are already happening. He is arguably, it pains me to say this because he's such a good guy, but he is arguably the worst starting pitcher of the season so far at this point by ERA and by other metrics as well. Kind of continued today. Maybe we saw a little bit more than we did his last time out, but still barely enough to, get him through 3 there. So much trouble locating still. He did a decent job of keeping the ball in the park, allows 2 home runs in that last inning of work there to sort of put things a little bit further out of reach. Another tough one, Show, and I have to imagine that we should see some kind of change here, whether that's within approach for Francis himself or someone else taking that spot for a little bit.
You're listening to Jays Talk. Show Ali, Julia Kreutz here with you. We're live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. Give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's text line is always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. Yeah, I think that the whole pitching staff, and obviously this includes Francis, but everyone was, I think, at best, like all right at the best of times today. I mean, the Jays pitchers today as a whole allowed 12 hits, 8 walks. Baden Francis with 5 of those walks, which is a career high. The Twins turned all of that into 6 runs. Braden Fisher maybe had some bad luck in this first inning of 2, alongside that odd collision between Clement and Lucas out there, and you hope they're both all right. Yeah. But he was probably the most effective guy, I would say, over 2 innings. And definitely good to see. There's something there with Braden Fisher. I think for sure. We'll see how he's treated when guys start to come back and he has options. So I'm sure there's going to be some of the options game that is played. I'm not sure when you talk about Baden Francis, I'm not sure you can run out bullpen days every 5th day and then also continue to get abbreviated starts from Francis, right? Like if you were getting 4 all right starts, essentially, and just in terms of length, right? Because obviously I think you all expect more. You have heightened expectations for Barrios, for Bassett, and for Gausman, right? And I think that it's been an up and down season for them, but I think they're more on the up than down, at least right in this period of time. But if you were also getting that from Baden Francis, then I think it'd be more tenable to run out bullpen days. There's no way it is sustainable to have a bullpen day every 5th day and then to get like 3 1/3 or 4 innings from Baden Francis every 5th day as well. Like something has got to give there. And it essentially means the rotation is walking. I mean, we were talking earlier earlier in the season when the team wasn't scoring a lot of runs, that you're walking this really fine line, right? You're walking this tightrope of the pitchers need to be perfect. Well, the bats are starting to come around and have come around in the last month, but you're still walking a fine line because if any one of the starts for Gausman, Bassett, or Barrios go anything less than 6 innings per game at this point, you're kind of in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and it's going to continue until the Blue Jays can figure something out here. There aren't a ton of options, Joe, and if there were a few more options, then maybe we would have seen a bit of a more drastic decision towards Francis here. And listen, the Blue Jays still believe in him. This is a guy who was great for them last year and who kind of had to, go down and figure some things out as well, whether that's, an IL stint or whatever. But he does have an option remaining, and it does seem like that is what we're walking towards, because you're absolutely correct. This is not just one spot in the starting rotation. We are talking about 2 spots right now that are just question marks pretty much, right? Except one of them starts as TBD and the other one starts as Bowden Francis type of thing. The options are still kind of slim. Spencer Turnbull, for example, who was a guy who was signed here to give the Blue Jays some depth. Well, his starts in the minors to build up have not gone according to plan. You have John Schneider talking about potential mechanical issues and weird things that are happening on the mound. Well, that's not really the type of discourse that's going to generate any sort of confidence. Coming back to AAA right now, there's Adam Macko. We checked on his numbers during the game here. He made a good first start for AAA Buffalo, also working his way back from injury. So I doubt that the Blue Jays would want to rush a guy like Adam Macko to the majors. But again, they may not have a choice. Their hand may be forced a little bit there, not just by Macko himself, if he can keep performing, but also by the way that things are going. And maybe, the more available, the more possible option up to this point, depending on what the Blue Jays want to do, would be to just move Eric Lauer to the rotation, give Bowden Francis a bit of a breather, call up another bulk reliever, and continue with that one TBD start. But, now you have Eric Lauer maybe settled into a bit more of a starting role for the time being. I don't know how you feel about that. I certainly don't know what the Blue Jays are thinking here, but it sounds like that might be a way to get some sort of stability outside of the big 3 here.
Yeah, I think the team is going to have to, out of necessity, cobble together, at least with internal options right now. Because, of course, there's the other option is obviously go and trade for someone. But I can't imagine the asking prices are anything but astronomical on June 8th, right? I think if you get closer to the deadline, that might change, which is generally speaking why you don't see a lot of trades happen, like just period, right? But this far out from the deadline. But you're going to have to cobble together internally 2 starts every 5 days out of Lauer, Schultz, I would imagine. I mean, and Schultz could get options, certainly. That's definitely a part of this. Spencer Turnbull, who has to be added to the active roster. Otherwise, he can elect free agency, I believe. And he made his final start with the Bisons a couple nights ago. And let's face it, it wasn't great, honestly. Right. So there's that to keep in mind. I'm sure Easton Lucas, they have no choice but to use him as at least as part of a solution. Max Scherzer, again, we heard over the last couple of days that Scherzer is going to be throwing in either a simulated game or an actual Florida Complex League game, I think on Tuesday. No, I'm not sure if it was today or if it was supposed to be a little later on in the week, but like at some point soon, to the point where he was going to get 3 innings, and then moving forward, Scherzer was going to be moved quickly if things go well, right? So either way, he was going to be facing batters and then moving on from there. So he's going to be a part of the solution. And like you said, there are other guys like Mako. And to Jules' point, he made his first start off the IL today. This is from WGR's Pat Malacaro, who's the voice of the Bisons. 4-inning hitless start, struck out 4 with 3 walks, 62 pitches, 32 strikes. So yeah, he'll probably also be a part of figuring out that solution. But I mean, even if we're just talking about the next turn in this spot, like 5 starts, 5 days from today, I mean, I'm not sure it's Adam Mako or Max Scherzer are going to be part of that very immediate solution. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm not sure you can, especially I think if it lines up for Bowden to be facing the Phillies again in Philadelphia, I'm not sure you can let that next start go through. I'm not sure you can. Because we saw how the first start against the Phillies went, right? This is a team that hits the ball extremely hard and likes to hit the ball out of the park. Kyle Schwarber especially. Some tough left-handed hitters in that lineup. Of course, Bryce Harper is now on the IL, so you don't have to worry about him. But this is still an extremely dangerous Phillies lineup that, got to Francis early and often his last time out. And you can't really see this start against the Twins as a step forward necessarily. I think that there was a little bit more life on the fastball at points. And then at other points, it just seemed like he couldn't really locate it so many times. We saw him miss his spots today with that fastball, including for a couple of home runs. The first one, sure, it wasn't the worst pitch in the world. It did seem like Francis didn't really go where he wanted to go with that fastball. It rode in on the batter. He just hit it out. The second one, it was a Christian Vasquez home run. He got all of that one. He knew exactly what was coming in that spot. And it's not just that. It's the fact that you see Francis at 0-2 or 1-2. Pretty commonly, he cannot finish a batter off. All of a sudden, it's 3-2. All of a sudden, he has walked, or it's a single, whether that's a bloop single or a hard hit ball. There's so many times here where we've watched Francis work himself into a good count, and he is unable to finish guys off. That has become the most important part of all of this for Francis. And it obviously one of the toughest things to do, right, as a major leaguer, is to get that strike 3. Absolutely. We all understand that. But if he is unable to do it right now, then maybe for right now, he is not a major league starting pitcher. Yeah. And you have to accept the reality of this, even though it puts you in a little bit of an inconvenient situation, let's put it like that, with 2 spots to fill in the rotation. Tough one, Show. And it really does take away from what up to this point had been a very, very good weekend for the Blue Jays, taking a 4th series in a row, the bats coming through, comeback wins, all of that. And listen, you and I spoke about this. The Blue Jays are never really out of it, right? They were fighting on the way to the end here. You kind of expect them to somewhat put up a fight. Just couldn't do it today. And kind of an unfortunate way to wrap up this trip to Minnesota. On the text line, 590-590, name and location. We'll go to the phones in a sec. But a lot of texts, I think, echoing what we're talking about here, right? Forbes in Toronto, with Francis' opponents, OPS over 1,000 in his last 8 starts. How can the Jays keep running him out there? He's hurting them every start, and they are in a playoff race. It's not fair to Francis or the team as a whole. He also struggled during the spring, so this isn't just a little funk or a dead arm period. He should be sent down to get right. Anyone else or a combination of options is better than him. They also can't wait on Scherzer getting healthy to act. They have to pursue a different option. Francis should not start again. Jalen from Whitby, this team desperately needs another starting pitcher because running Francis out there every 5th day has practically been a guaranteed loss every time I return through the rotation since the season started. Dale in Nova Scotia, I know the Jays are in a tough spot, having to use their bullpen for the 5th spot in the rotation. But if they're serious about being a postseason team, the honeymoon is over with Bowden and Francis. There are like a lot of texts like that, if we're being honest. Like, look, Mike and Victoria, looks like with Francis starting, we have 2 bullpen days out of every 5. Not a recipe for success. We are 1 pulled muscle away from 3 in 5 days for a bullpen. Yeah, and talking about like the rest of those guys being on a knife's edge. And I mean, hey, credit to Gausman, Barrios, and Bassett for, I think, more or less turning things around, because after some question marks existed with them for a good chunk of the season. But also, I mean, they're also very durable, all 3 of them, right? Like, knock on wood, certainly. But I mean, during their whole careers, certainly Bassett had the arm injury very early in his career, but like for the most part, they've all been very, very durable for years and years and years now. And I think you can, to a certain extent, when it's been this consistent, you can kind of count on it. But to Mike's point, I mean, freak things happen all the time. I mean, it was during Gausman's tenure as a Blue Jay pretty early on. Remember when he got smoked by the comebacker?
I do.
And I think what only saved him from an even longer stint on the IL was the fact that he had like high top shoes on. So I mean, like that kind of stuff can happen, right?
Crazy things happen for sure.
I just don't know if you want to, or if you can, not even want to, if you can take that risk. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Eddie in Fort Erie. Eddie, what's up? Welcome to JSOC, man.
Thank you, Sean and Julia, for taking my call as always. Always good to talk to both of you.
You too, man. What's on your mind?
Well, you know what? I looked at this series as a see what happens approach. And the reason I say that is because we all know how tough the Twins have played the Blue Jays over the last couple of years, not just in the playoffs, but you think about who the Blue Jays were throwing in this series. First, it was the bullpen game with a whole lot of relievers, and then Gausman yesterday, who they've really owned a lot. Whether he's tipping his pitches or whatever like that, but they've had his number, and then today with Francis. And you know what? I'm happy that we won the series despite all of that. And I'll tell you both something right now. After watching what happened yesterday, by the way, by how the Twins lost the series, I thought to myself, if the Twins had lost this game today, this sweep could have defined their season. Because when you have all this stuff, a line for the Twins, to do a lot of damage, you would have thought, okay, this is going to be their series. But you know what? It wasn't that way. And you know what? I really feel like if they had lost this game, this could have defined their season. So it was a whole lot of things that I saw out of this. But you know what? I'm happy with how still good that the Jays are playing. But now, wipe it away and get ready for St. Louis, because you know what? Just like the Twins are playing good, so are the Cardinals. So I'm looking forward to the St. Louis series.
Hey Eddie, thanks for the call. Appreciate you joining us as always. Yeah, I think that's a relatively healthy way to look at it, right, Jules? Like, no question, you're not going to enjoy this game because it was kind of like a ho-hum loss. It felt very frustrating. You kind of watched it slip away at different points, right? I mean, the Blue Jays had a lead in this game, 3-2 with some pretty good hitting early in the game, and then Joe Ryan picked it up. He wrapped up his start. The Twins turned it over to a pretty. I mean, I know these guys got yesterday, but Griffin Jackson, Sands, and Duran, these guys did not got for a second straight day, and they managed to lock it down. Something they have done to great effect for the Twins more or less all year, and that's all she wrote. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not going to let it color the entire season, because let's face it, we talked about this in the pregame show, and this is just the reality of sports, not just baseball. You're not going to win every single game forever. Right. But I do think now that you've seen what this is, to go back to the Bowden Francis of it all, you want to see them be proactive with finding a solution, because for me at least, now that we've seen this a number of times in a row, to all the texters' points, if they roll out Francis again on, I don't know, Friday or Saturday or whenever it lines up for the Phillies series, I mean, I'm not really sure what the defense is for that. I'll be completely honest. And I know there are not a lot of slam dunk options, but still. Yeah, that's no longer, I think, a defendable argument either, because it can't get much worse than what we're seeing right now. And to one of our texters' points, it's not fair to Bowden Francis either, right? This is a guy who clearly needs a reset. And I'm not just talking about the way that he's pitching, which, if you take it at bat to at bat, you will see that, there was at least an effort to pitch inside a little bit more, but he was still missing a ton
a ton with those pitches and then just, falling back into the habit of just going outside. But it's also body language. It's also, the expression on his face when he is missing those spots and when he's allowing those walks and the home runs and all of that. You're seeing how much he is uncomfortable right now, how out of his element he is for whatever reason. We don't know what is happening mechanically, mentally, physically. There's so many factors that play into what we're seeing on the field right now. But in whatever way you slice it, it doesn't look like he's having a good time either. And so if you want to do what's best for your team and what's best for your player beyond this moment, this may be one of those moments where you need to give him a breather, you need to give him a reset and figure something else out, because this is certainly about right now, but it is also about this pennant race. It is also about this wild card race, and all of these games may matter a little bit more, especially when you're talking about an American League rival such as the Twins. You take the series, you're sure going to be happy about that, but there's a lot left to figure out until the Blue Jays can sort of, and I'm not saying that they're going to cruise at any point this season, but you take away one question mark out of this rotation, the Blue Jays are in a much better spot. And we're seeing a rising team here. We're seeing a team that is figuring some things out, putting some runs on the board, getting into a bit of a streak, of a winning streak. And that spot in the rotation right now is kind of the barrier. It's kind of the hurdle that they can't really clear in order to go on a streak like the Twins did early on, or create some form of separation in the wild card race. I was even looking at the standings, honest to God, and kind of calculating how much they would need to do here to catch up to the Yankees. It doesn't seem that far out of reach, but you need to have some answered questions when it comes to that starting spot.
Speaking of that starting spot, because of course today's show is all about what do you do with Bowden Francis. Of course, that's more or less all John Schneider was asked about in his post-game availability. It was short and sweet from John Schneider, and it was all about Bowden Francis. So why don't we hear it? Here is today's post-game availability from the skipper, John Schneider, after a 6-3 loss in Minnesota.
It looked like Bowden was trying to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
More fastballs in, more sliders. Why do you think it didn't really work out?
Man, early I thought his stuff was good, and he was just kind of missing. They weren't budging. They had a good approach. It's a similar approach to Gauze, kind of back-to-back days with the stuff. And they kind of just warm out pitch count-wise. The homers, both on heaters, they warm down, basically. The walks are going to hurt you, and I thought early his stuff was better, or as it should be. And just some close misses, and the walks end up catching up to you.
As he's going through this, how does his composure look to you on the mound?
I think he's the same. I think when we talk about Bowden, we talk about his demeanor and being very present and being very calm. I'm sure he's frustrated, when you talk to him. But he's, going to go out and compete and try to put you in position to win.
Do you guys have to sit down and have a discussion about what's best for him, what's best for the team as far as him making his next start?
No, I don't think so. Pete and him have been working really hard in between, and we need him. That's the bottom line. We need him to help contribute and be the pitcher that he can be. So you keep working to make adjustments. And again, I think his stuff is where it should be. It's just the mix and the location of it. You got to tighten up a little bit. That's all.
John, would you have any consideration of just to maybe get him going, putting him in front of an opener or something creative like that? Just better spots for him maybe?
I haven't thought of that yet. No. I think that, we're kind of doing that with the one spot in the rotation already, so you don't want to wear guys out, but we trust him. He's shown that he can do it. We just got to figure out a way to get him back on track.
Do you have an update on Max? How things went?
Yeah, Max was good. He threw a 3-inning, 50-pitch sim game down in Florida. Varsh actually participated in that, which was nice. Actually took him deep. Max will probably laugh about that, but he felt good through all his pitches. He's going to throw a side on his normal turn here and kind of see where we go from there.
In Florida, or will he meet you guys?
He's going to throw it in Florida, and then we'll go from there, yeah.
So there you go. That's a short and sweet from John Schneider. So I guess we can work backwards. You heard the update on Scherzer. So it was today. There you go. It was actually earlier today. And good to see. I suppose that's a semi-positive update. As for the rest of it, Jules, it doesn't sound like John Schneider has any designs on not letting Bowden Francis make his next start. So I guess, pencil in Bowden Francis for a start against the Phillies in 5 days' time or 5-6 days with the off day?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm very surprised to hear it in those, pretty uncertain terms in which John Schneider is saying, nope, I don't think so. The stuff is where it should be. Sequencing and location is what he needs to tighten up. So yeah, pretty much that is what we expect is Bowden Francis to be back. And to start in turn, not even an opener being discussed here, Show, as per Shai's question there to John Schneider. It doesn't seem like that's something that we're going to see. And I thought Schneider's answer was pretty funny in which he said, well, we're already doing that with one spot in the rotation. Well, Bowden Francis is kind of working as your opener right now. The only difference is that, it's unofficial and it's resulted in a lot of come from behind situations for the Blue Jays. So I don't know. I'm not necessarily happy with that. I don't think that it answers any of the questions.
I think many people are going to be happy with that.
I mean, how can you? I understand that the options are slim, but this can't really go on any further. And Bowden Francis saw the Phillies very recently. Did not go well for him. So you kind of wait and see on how that one is going to shape up. And you hope that the offense is on that day as well, Show.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call if you want to weigh in on Bowden Francis or on the Blue Jays at large. 590-590, name and location is the People's text line. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. That's the way you can reach us text-wise as well. Let's take a quick break here, Jules. And when we come back, we'll go back to the phones, back to the text line, and we'll take a look around Major League Baseball as well. A lot of the American League East games actually hadn't gotten started when our game got started.
Right.
So a lot of games still going on. We'll take a look at the Bet365 standings update. Still lots to come. We're here until the top of the hour. You're listening to Blue Jays Talk. That's Julia. I'm Show. We're back in a flash on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gausman t-shirt giveaway, presented by Ryobi. Free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
This TSC Showstopper deal is like 2 stylish pillows for your feet. Save 30% on Skechers slip-in sandals on June 12th at tsc.ca. Kick up your summer style with these lightweight sandals. Available in 6 fun colors. With heel pillow technology that supports every step. Save 30% on Skechers slip-in sandals. The best offer of the day on June 12th. Shop exciting offers every day at tsc.ca.
Every Friday home game is a City Connect Friday. And on this Friday, we shine. On June 20th, it's Pride Night presented by TD. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a crossbody bag. City Connect Fridays. Night mode. Lights up. Let's go.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian.
Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Middle in fastball, but he puts it by Cruz. 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
2-2. Swinging a ground ball, left side, past the dive of the third baseman Lee into left field. Bichette around third, he comes in to score. Up to third goes Vladdy with a dive into the bag. It's an RBI single for Alejandro Kirk, and we're tied again. 2-2 in the third inning.
That's Ben Schulman with the call of Alejandro Kirk's RBI single that did tie the game early on. That made it 2-2, as you heard. But the Blue Jays, while they would go on to make it 3-2, they would get outscored 4-0 the rest of the way. And it's a 6-3 loss for the Blue Jays to wrap up this series in Minnesota. Welcome back to Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Show Ali, Julia Kreutz here with you. Before we go back to the phones, before we go back to the text line as well, let's check out the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. So like I said, Jules, before the break, there's a lot of these games actually hadn't started yet, right. Primarily because the Red Sox and Yankees are playing each other. That's Sunday Night Baseball. It doesn't start for a while. We have our game, again, a 6-3 loss. They had the earlier game, which was the Rays narrowly edging the Miami Marlins. So the Rays win that one 3-2. And then you have the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Athletics, and the Athletics are up 4-1 right now, bottom of the fifth inning. So we'll see if that holds, I suppose, that result holds. But with everything else being equal, here's how things look in the American League East. The Yankees, 39-24. The Rays are 35-30. The Blue Jays are also 35-30. The Boston Red Sox, 31-35. And again, Yankees, Red Sox playing each other. And mid-game so far, entering play, the Orioles, 26-37. If you look at the wild card race too, which I guess we can kind of start doing. I mean, yeah. I know this is going to change so much between now and even the All-Star break, which is not that far away. And of course, the All-Star break is before the trade deadline. But as things stand right now, you have 3 teams, all of whom are 35-30. You have the Twins, Rays, and Blue Jays are all 35-30. So they are essentially all tied for, I guess, all of the wild card spots, essentially.
Yeah.
That's how things work right now.
That is how things work right now. And you can really see just, even below that show how murky the playoff picture is in the American League right now, right?
Yeah, the Guardians are 34-30, so they're half a game back. The Royals are 34-32. They're 1.5 games back. The Mariners are 32-31. They're 2 games back. I mean, even the Angels are 4 games back. So, yeah, I mean, that's gonna change essentially like every half day. It's going to change depending on when games start and finish, right? So something we'll be continually keeping an eye on. We got a couple minutes before we get out of here, so let's talk about a couple of the positives we saw today. You heard the Kirk RBI single from Ben. That was the single to tie the game. It was yet another hit with 2 strikes. And then Kirk picks off Ty France to end the third inning with 2 on and 2 out for Bowden Francis. So Kirk doing a little bit of everything today. Definitely the positives continue, I think, generally speaking, for Kirky.
Yeah, maybe you saw what Tyler Heineman did yesterday and said, no. If you can do it, so can I. Obviously not a homer, but 109 miles per hour off the bat. He continues to hit the ball extremely hard, and we're seeing it too, Show. We're seeing it in the way that he is swinging the bat, that he's trying to do more. He's trying to do damage, and then obviously gets to 2 strikes. It is a bit of a different approach, but he is still absolutely clobbering the baseball, which is one of the best, honestly, the best developments for the Blue Jays, given the way that the season started for Alejandro Kirk. And then on the other side of the ball, we know who he is, right? This is one of the best defensive catchers in the game. He just continues to sort of find ways to surprise and to get those key outs. So as long as Cal Raleigh plays baseball, it'll be really difficult for a guy like Kirk to get a Silver Slugger award for sure. But I will say this, a Gold Glove is not out of the question here. Raleigh is also a tremendously good defensive catcher. But what Kirk is doing this season has put him in the upper echelon when it comes to defense. And he has his shortcomings for sure, right? When you look at pop time, for example, if he's trying to catch a runner stealing, that is not going to be the best. But he has more than made up for that with arm accuracy and even, improving his arm when it comes to strength as well. So this is just a continuation, honestly, of Kirk's efforts to better himself defensively. And this is a big reason why the Blue Jays wanted to extend him, want him to keep him around, is that he keeps improving, and we're seeing it on both sides of the ball right now. Just did it again today, really, right?
Yeah, he continues to be great. I do think it's an uphill battle for Kirk to be an all-star. You know what? Let me rephrase that. To at least be the starter in the all-star game, because it's a fan vote thing, right? Now, I think if enough Blue Jays fans rally, you could, in theory, vote Kirk into the all-star game. And he's having a good enough season that I think most Blue Jays fans will vote for him. But I mean, Cal Raleigh is having such an unbelievable season that I think even people who are not Blue Jays fans who will vote, I think will see the numbers, and I think and again, rightfully, I think vote for Cal Raleigh because he's having an incredible year. But I mean, I think Kirk would deserve a nod as a bench player. You know what I mean? As just being nominated to the team, because he's been very, very good so far. What were your thoughts on Alan Rodin? I know you said to me in the pregame show that you were looking forward to seeing what Rodin has. Hey, he had his first hit, but also his first RBI. But first hit since mid-April. April 15th was the last time he had a hit in the majors. And, of course, he's been a good chunk in between then and now in the minors. But still, what were your impressions of Alan Rodin just getting his second start since getting called back up? Yeah, that was a weird double, a weird RBI double. Kind of just found an open spot in between outfield. Aided in that play. Felt bad. Yeah, it was tough, right? But it's that is what you do. That is what happens when you put the ball in the bat and just try to put the ball in play. That is what he did there. That is very much Alan Rodin's game. Other than that, it was meh. But you kind of have to see it as a step forward. If he keeps putting together long at bats, and if he keeps showing you that he has an understanding of what pitchers are trying to do to him, then why not try to slide him in there a few more times. Before we go, I'm just going to read a couple more text, Jules. Yep. Again, 590 is how you can always reach us. Drew in Ottawa says it's starting to feel like a change for Francis would help. Perhaps a Wyrod type change in the bullpen where he can become more aggressive in short stints. The trade deadline needs for this team are becoming more obvious. Andrew from Kitchener, and the Bowden experiment before the season slips away. Send him down. I'd rather see 2 bullpen days than Francis throwing meatballs middle every pitch. It's kind of funny. And then Tango from Ottawa, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit. When will Alek Manoah be available to start pitching? Now, I believe he is going to face live batters this week. But before we go, I do think if Manoah pitches for the Blue Jays, let's say at some point in August, I think that's a win. But I think it also means that you can't necessarily depend on that. And I think the conversation is much the same with Max Scherzer. Yeah. Listen, you kind of hope for the best, but you have to prepare for not the best. I don't even want to say prepare for the worst, because I think that's a little too doomsday-y for my taste, but you have to prepare for things to not go according to plan, right? Yeah. Alek Manoah, honestly, is such a big example, and not that long ago, right? Did the Blue Jays kind of have all their chips in him, and rightfully so, because he had such a tremendous season. And then it just derailed for them. And that is, one of the first times that we started talking about the workload for the other starters, for the veteran starters in this rotation. And part of me just can't believe that we're here again. And again, we are insisting in this. The Blue Jays seem to be just committed to.
Cheers, Insiders. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, this morning. Middle of the night, middle of the afternoon, wherever it is that you're hanging out with us, listening to the Blue Jays, chatting it up, keeping it classy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You all rock. You are awesome. We appreciate you hanging out with us, cheering on our Blue Jays, because our Jays are special. This season, we've got something. These kids are going to put something together, I have a feeling. And we have a chance to make a playoff push, and we got to get behind them. And I'm just here to say thank you to you, you, for being here and making a difference with us here on TSI, making this awesome place to hang out for people, sports fans all over the world, and making that difference with SickKids Hospital in Toronto. As a percentage of our revenue from every single game is donated to SickKids Hospital. We are over $12,000 in our first year of donating and fundraising for SickKids Hospital. That's impressive. And that's on you and everybody else who's been here during a Toronto Sports Insider Live. Now let's get back to the baseball. Come on, Blue Jays. Let's go get a playoff spot. Isn't that pretty? That's so pretty. I just love these awesome plaques and play buttons. Thank you, Insiders, Blue Jays fans. Thank you for helping us reach this amazing, amazing milestone.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, and online with the Sirius XM app.
12:10 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays face the Miami Marlins. Rays on Sirius 208 XM 175 and Internet 866. Marlins on Internet 855. 1:05 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers take on the San Diego Padres. Brewers on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 856. Padres on Internet 862. 1:35 p.m. Pittsburgh Pirates face the Philadelphia Phillies. Pirates on Sirius 211 XM 178 and Internet 861. Phillies on Internet 860. 1:35 p.m. Washington Nationals take on the Texas Rangers. Nationals on Sirius 121 XM 179 and Internet 869. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 1:40 p.m. Cincinnati Reds take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Reds on Sirius 119 XM 180 and Internet 847. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 1:40 p.m. Cleveland Guardians face the Houston Astros. Guardians on Sirius 209 XM 176 and Internet 848. Astros on Internet